Okay, so hello and welcome to the e-commerce agency free course. Now I'm very excited to announce this. I'm going to be going through every little thing that you're going to need to know in excruciating detail. The things that usually cost you thousands and thousands of pounds and the secrets that you think you might not know. I'm going to be breaking them down today. So make sure you like, comment and share this in every single Facebook group to all of your friends that are interested in starting an agency, because I'm going to be showing you not just how to do an e-commerce agency, but also how to do lead gen as well. Because in my opinion, lead generation is going to be absolutely vital going through 2020 and going through 2021. So let's get started. Here is what we're going to cover. So please don't skip ahead. I know most of you guys just want to skip to the most important thing that you think is important, but trust me, I've laid out this course so you probably won't be able to find it. So make sure you follow this in detail. We're going to be covering SMMA and what is it. We're going to be covering laying the perfect foundations, how to get started and everything you need to know in terms of getting paid, the systems that you're going to need to know. We're going to be going through Facebook ad strategy, some basic strategies and some also advanced strategies. And we're going to discuss some more advanced higher level things like increasing your AOV, scaling up and also going from 10K all the way to 100K and the plan you need to know. Now to get started, what is SMMA? So SMMA stands for Social Media Marketing Agency and it's a pretty straightforward business model. You don't need to be an expert in all types of different things. You don't need to be a jack of all trades. You just need to be a specialist in one area. You can be a specialist in Google ads, SEO, PR, Facebook ads, and anything you want to do. This is why it's such a good business model, because you don't necessarily need to have tons of capital to start. It's a service-based business model, which means you can charge anywhere from 1 to 10K and even have an optional revenue share and a revenue share partnership with businesses as well. So when they make more money, you also make more money. Now, the business model. The business model of SMA is you are a business owner, you manage the other businesses' services. So you need to remember that sometimes you might have to get your hands dirty. Sometimes you might have to run the Facebook ads or the Google ads. Sometimes you might need to be the salesman as well as the client communicator. You might need to be able to do every single little part. This is not drop servicing. And this is a big warning to any of you guys that think you can just follow this video and make some quick cash or some quick money. This is a high level course and it's all going to be based around making sure you are a real life business owner. I'm going to be taking you through every part of the business and every specific thing that you need to know and you need to understand to be successful. Take Jeff Bezos, for example. If you ask Jeff Bezos about different parts of his business, he might not be able to do it. He might not be able to do the task, but he at least knows a thing or two about that specific part. Now, the very first subject we're going to discuss is mindset. Now, for those of you guys that didn't skip past this part, please reward yourself because mindset is going to be so important for you guys to learn and understand. And it's the key point and the starting foundation for you to succeed. Now, the mind can actually create wealth in insane fashion, but it can also destroy it in the exact same fashion. The way we are going to manage mindset is we're going to start by setting some goals. Now, in terms of goal setting, you need to make sure that any goal you do set in your business lifetime, in your personal life as well, is all based around SMART goals. SMART goals stand for specific, measurable, and achievable, but in short, they are goals that you have a time to them and you can measure them as well. So this relates to financial goals, weight goals, goals that you want to achieve that are easy to track and obtain. We're going to start off by setting our financial goals for our business. Before we get into jumping in the deep end, before we start learning different outreach strategies, this is the main part where I went wrong when I first started. I just jumped in there trying to reach out to different clients and I didn't even know what I want. I just wanted to be able to work for myself. I didn't have no goals in the process. So what I want you guys to do, very first thing, is set your financial goals. Now you're going to set your yearly goal, monthly goal, quarterly goals, and you're going to work your way down. So yearly, quarterly, monthly. Now, don't make your monthly goal just 10K because everybody wants to make 10K. Make your goals based on revenue, make your goals based on profit, and really go into excruciating detail on how much you want to earn per quarter. Bigger businesses create forecasts, and so can you. The second goal we're going to set is based on my greatest, probably one of my greatest ever investments, and this is the 2 black books. Now, by the 2 black books, for those of you guys that don't already know, that follow my social media, the 2 black books are where you set your goals for your career, your favorite car, the house you want, the life you want, and the partner. You need to be very, very specific. In one book, you write your goals, the different sections that you want, including your financial goals. And in the other book is where you write your daily routine, which I'm going to discuss in a second. So I want you to sit down and really think about the career you want, the car you want. How does it feel? How does it drive? What type of car is it? What reg is it? What shape is it? How does it smell on the inside? The house you want, exactly the same. How big is this house? What does it look like? How does it feel to enter the house? What type of presence do you have in your life? How does it feel when you enter the room? And what do you do in your daily routines in your life? And then also write down your partner. What do you want your partner to look like? What you want your partner to, her day job to be, her or him, for those of you girls out there. And really break down specifically what you want for every single step. Now, hard work breeds success, but consistency keeps it. Now, consistency and accountability is going to be the key for you to get to these goals. You've listed down exactly what you want to achieve and how much you want to obtain as well in the process. But consistency is going to be how we're able to get there. Now, consistency starts in 2 ways. It starts in your daily routine, and it also starts in your mental routine as well. We're going to start off by our work blocks. At the start, you just need to work for about 2 hours, nothing too complex, and you only need to have around about 10-minute break with no phone. Becoming accountable for these things is important because during this routine of you working hard, you need to make sure to keep yourself accountable. If you do go on your phone, if you don't do your 2 hours of work, then you need to make sure you keep yourself accountable for not actually completing the tasks. Now, another key thing is by having a purpose that is so big that it doesn't matter how many distractions there are in the world, it doesn't matter what's going on, because your purpose is so high, then that is what keeps you going. So also, a purpose is very, very valuable. Now, we're going to be able to achieve these things because we're going to attack goals relentlessly. Now, I'm actually going to be able to give you a routine completely for free. And if you'd like to see that, just head over to the link in the description for the free cheat sheet, where I'm going to take you through the exact routines that you can do to start off with to be successful. And you can follow along this routine while watching the video. Now, we're going to start off with attacking goals relentlessly. I'm going to be 100% real with you. Until you change your mindset, you're not going to be successful. So this is why mindset is the beginning of this course, and it's why mindset should be one of the key foundations of it. In this course, I'm literally just brushing over it. There's so many things in mindset that you can learn on and develop on, but for now, just remember to mindset is going to be the key to success. And now we have our tasks. The task I want you to do is write down the car, the house, the career, the life, the partner that you want in one book. And then what I want you to do is to go ahead and to study your current daily routine. So you need to make sure that you set your phone or any type of alarm that you have for every single 30 minutes. And then after the end of the 30 minutes, I just want you to write down what you are doing during that day. So don't go out and have a really productive day, a really high productive day, because that's going to go completely against what you're currently doing. And you're already going to be lying to yourself. I want you to go away, set your 30-minute alarm, and just go through a standard day that you're going to be doing. And this is going to allow you to actually analyze the daily routines that you are currently having. This allows you to identify what's working, what's not, and you can even hierarchy them from red, all the way to green. For example, using red as working against the goal, yellow as working towards a goal, and green as working towards every single goal on that list that you have put. Now, the final task is to review your routine to make it fit around the lifestyle that you want. So a lot of people that you speak to sound like they're very busy, but they're not very productive. And others might say that they've got not enough time. But after you've done this task, you'll be able to identify the time you spent on Netflix, the time you spent on YouTube, and the time you spent working on a task that doesn't actually relate to accelerating you to that career, the house, the car, the life, the partner that you want to achieve. And you can simply remove those and replace those with some higher productivity tasks that I'm going to give you. Now, the next step of mindset is looking at the services that you're going to deliver. You need to look at yourself as an expert in these services, even though you might not be there yet. In my opinion, I used to think this is absolutely crazy. But what I realized when I really started to scale my business is I was walking around like a millionaire and I was nowhere near a millionaire yet. Matter of fact, I'm not a millionaire now, but I still carry my presence like I am a multi-millionaire. And this is how you have this success. You don't want to be chasing tons of different niches, and you don't want to be chasing the next big thing. This might sound like a bunch of ramble, but if you take a look at my cheat sheet in the description, you'll see some niches that you can easily jump into, and there's some ones that you want to focus on and be passionate about. I also want to let you guys know that there is no perfect niche, okay? This is a real business. There's no special niche that's going to make you filthy rich while doing nothing. And anybody that does say that is telling you a complete lie and wants to sell you something to make themselves rich. Now, you have to look at this as kind of like a job, okay? You're doing a job that solves people's problems, and you just need to learn a lot about one specific subject. And the last thing you need to have a look at is that businesses need your help. You need to understand that during this current period of time, there are tons of businesses that are struggling and they need customers to survive. They're going over to different platforms, trying to find different ways to succeed. And you can go out there and make some insane changes to businesses' lives, people's careers. You can give people jobs. And this is what's going to allow you to change the industry. People doing agencies, people doing e-commerce, any type of entrepreneur are the only type of people that are keeping this economy alive. Everybody else is sitting down and just taking their paycheck. Now, here is an example. There are accountants who specialize and work at firms. Now, they often charge base rates the year and they just tend to just get the job done. They have that general mindset. They sit down, they check in, they work and do any type of job. Then there are specialists. The specialist accountants that aim to solve specific problems. You are going to be just like that. These type of accountants are accountants that do investments, forensic accountants, tax accountants. They solve a specific problem, and you as a business owner, as an agency owner, are going to solve specific problems about a business. Now, you might think at the moment you have no skill, and at the moment that could be true. But following this course and following what I'm about to take you through, you'll be able to understand a skill, you'll be able to take it through in advance, and you'll be able to scale businesses and solve specific problems. So think of it like this. When businesses come over to you, they're coming into your office. I always like to look at images like this. They tend to give me tons of inspiration because, quite frankly, businesses are going to come to you with their problems. Their problems are going to be struggling to find customers. Their problems are going to be struggling to scale their business. They're going to have specific problems. And your job is to break them down, become their partner, and help them succeed, help them scale. And the way you're going to do that is simply by building strong foundations. Now, foundations are the key for any business, and it's very important that you follow this part to make sure that you have the right foundations. We've discussed a little bit about your morning routine and the things that you need to do, and that's pretty much the start of it, making sure that you've got the right daily routine. But what exactly are you going to put in that routine? Here's what you're going to put in there. You're going to put in there the building blocks for the perfect business. Now, no matter what stage you're at, these building blocks should always be worked on. The amount of times I've spoken to businesses and they don't really understand the right building blocks to have success, and they end up going back and working on this. But if you start correctly, you have the right mindset, you create a well-oiled machine, you know how much to charge as well, so you know the correct amount to charge clients, and you have the correct routine, as we already discussed, That's what's going to allow you to be successful. And that is what we're about to cover. So the first thing I want to let you guys know is that health is not a sacrifice. As we already mentioned about having those work blocks as referred to in the free cheat sheet, we also want to make sure that we follow this through with our health routine. If you have a look during that first 2 hours of the day, you want to make sure that you've got the right routine in terms of health. We want to work out at least 3 times per week, and we want to make sure that we can enjoy the hard work that we've actually done. We can enjoy the money. We can enjoy the success. We can enjoy the time because we're healthy. Now, mental health is also something that is highly up to date, and it's something that really needs to be done. Like, you really need to make sure you're taking the time away for yourself. You're taking some time away to be alone and really focus on keeping your mental clarity and mental focus in top tip condition. Ways you can do this is by meditating during the first 15 minutes of your day. You can also take some time off, get some clarity on the weekends, go for walks. Maybe you can use your morning walk as a time of gaining some mental clarity, and it all revolves around that routine. Now, when I first started playing sports, I used to think this was the ideal person. I used to think growing old, getting fat, being rich would be the best thing to do. And it's really not. You know, a lot of people that even achieve this type of success, they never get a chance to enjoy their wealth. They just feed their pockets. They never help anybody else. And you don't want to be that type of person. You want to be the person that helps others. You want to be the person that helps other businesses be successful. And this is what I want to show you guys. As you can see, for the example, we've got Big Jeff here. And when Jeff first started out in business, he didn't look as jacked as he did now. The funny thing is, as he scaled his business, he scaled not only his mental clarity, he also managed to scale his obviously shape as well. So as you can see, it's not just all about making money. You can also see that it's also about having the right healthy mindset, the healthy body, because ultimately the healthier you are, the longer you're going to be able to work and the more effective you're going to be for business. So let's get into the systems. The systems and processes that you're going to need revolve around more than just routine. Routine is the main system that we're going to focus on, but we're also going to break into the systems in terms of outreach, the systems and the processes you're going to need to be working on a day-to-day basis. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. So why is it that some people manage to accelerate so quick in these 24 hours and other people tend to trail behind? This is because the people that are effective, they work on their systems, and the people that aren't effective, they work and they grind day in, day out to the point where they get tired and they fall behind the people that took a slower route. They worked on their system, they innovate, they optimize, and that's what allows you to scale. Now here is your routine system. Your routine system ranges from 2 to 4 hours. You need to be removing all distractions, such as your TV. You need to be removing distractions such as your phone. You need to be making sure you keep that mental clarity that we spoke about in the morning, and you make sure that you carry that mental clarity into your 2 to 4 hour work blocks. Now, you can copy the exact same structure that I've given you, and you can put that in your phone too, just to allow you to keep into routine. I remember when I was following this in the morning, eventually it just became second nature. This is something that just automatically happens now. But at first it was very, very hard, and I like to break up these blocks into 30 minutes and then just have a little 5-minute break with no phone and just read your goals. Now, your morning work block must include high income activities that help you accelerate to your first goals. Remember, we discussed the goals that we set. These are ways you can reach those goals. Outreach to clients, following up with leads, collecting testimonials, generating more leads is how I'm going to show you as well, with different outreach methods like email, DMing clients. You can also go onto Upwork sites, which we're also going to go through. And then we've got fancy things like building sales funnels and shooting videos for your personal brand. Now, this is the system to master. You have your morning routine, you then have your afternoon routine, and then also have your evening routine as well. So you can break down each and every section in increasing detail. Your morning routine, you can break that down. Your afternoon routine, you can break that down. Even your evening routine, routines that make you happy, routines that give you a positive mindset, routines that keep you healthy, maybe even routines that help you sleep longer. Now, We're going to move on to tracking. As we even track our routines, we're also going to track our outreach. As you guys already know, or you're going to get to know, this is a numbers game. Not everybody's going to want this service from you. You need to make sure that you're tracking what you're doing and you're tracking the amount of people that you actually engage with your business. You need to follow the data, and I'm going to teach you every single outreach method in the book. But you guys need to promise me you're going to actually physically do these outreach methods and you're going to test them in detail, okay? You need to test them at least for 30 days and put 100% effort into them. If you're not willing to do that, then please just turn off the video, go watch some Netflix, because this video is not going to be for you. How are you going to track these outreach methods? First things first, you're going to use Notion to track your consistency. Outreach should last at least 5 to 10 businesses per day, and it should last around about 30 days. That gives you around about 300 businesses, and without a doubt, if you reach 300 businesses, the minimum meetings you're going to get is around about 15, which gives you around about 5% conversion rate. With this strategy that I've taught people, on average, they get around about 5% conversion rate for businesses and outreaches that works for them. And people that improve and people that work on it, they can improve this conversion rate drastically. Now the data part, data does equal success. And building on this data is what allows you to be successful. This gives you the ability to look at things from a bird's eye perspective and optimize different things. Once you've tested DM, once you've tested Instagram outreach, once you've tested cold DM for Facebook, you can analyze the different conversion rates and just go for the one that has the highest for you. But before we get into this, I just want to discuss how much exactly are you actually going to charge client? We need to have a price to start out with. You are only paid in the correlation to the problems that you solve. A favorite quote from mine from Elon Musk, and this is exactly right. Don't go out there following what people say, charging $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for services that you are not feeling fully comfortable with. This is going to give you a tough experience. You're probably going to feel like over pressured, and it's going to make it pretty hard for your reputation as well if you mess up charging clients $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and not delivering the results. The minimum I would say to charge for advertising is around about $750. For different forms like email marketing agencies, you can charge a little bit more. Maybe even for Google ads, you can charge about the same price. But in this video, I'm going to be taking you through Facebook ads. And as of today, the average amount is about $750. Now, obviously, if you're managing around about 10K, 20K, you can charge a little bit more. But on average, I like to comfortably charge around about 2 to 3K with clients that spend anything more than $10,000 per month. Now, I like to make sure that my clients have at least a 1 to 2K advertising budget, because this allows them to actually have some money to spend. Now, I've closed clients for around about $750, and I've closed clients for well over 2K. And the difference between the budget is very funny, actually. The difference between the budget is the ones that have more money tend to actually leave you alone more than the ones that have less money. So sometimes don't be afraid to say no, because not every client is going to be for you. So how exactly are we going to get these clients? We're charging them 1 to 2K. We only need 5, 10 clients to have some real success. So how exactly are we actually going to get these clients? Now, I like to work backwards. I like to work backwards from where clients spend their time. I like to aim on delivering them value. And I also like to get inbound leads. And this is exactly what I'm going to show you. Now, here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover email outreach, cold message, Upwork, job sites, which are very, very underrated. And we're also going to cover Facebook ads as well. So I'm going to give you a free Facebook advertising strategy, and you guys can use it for clients. You can also use it for your own businesses too. So first of all, what do I think about email? In my opinion, email is a science, and it's all about getting them open rates. You can scrape emails, you can go on Upwork and get people to give emails to you, and then you can test them. But ideally, it's all going to be based on a numbers game. You want to send as many emails as possible, as bespoke as you possibly can. And then you want to actually scrape through those emails and start to create a relationship with these business owners. Now, email is all based around copywriting. And if you go over to the free sheet, you'll be able to see a step-by-step process for email. You can have my exact same email script that I personally use completely for free. Now, the negatives of email is it's quite tough for face-to-face, okay? Like, there's not that much of a face-to-face interaction. I'm going to show you a way to get around that with something that one of my friends did pretty well. But in general, email's pretty tough for people who like face-to-face engagement. And me personally, I'm a face-to-face person. So we also have huge success with email. We use email predominantly for converting warmer leads. Now, I do see a spelling mistake there, so please leave me alone in the comments. But we do use email to convert warmer leads. For cold leads, it is also good as well. Like I said, the link for this free cheat sheet is in the description. Okay, so welcome to the email outreach tutorial. And as you can see, I'm just in the back office of my Notion. Now, Notion is the best software without a doubt to use because it allows you to actually reach out to people and it lowers your overhead as well. So you can track everything. You can track everything from email outreach, DM outreach, genuine like sales meeting outreach. I even track, as you can see, other agencies. I track other e-commerce stores that I'm building. I track different things that's going on inside e-commerce. And as you can see, vision boards, everything. You can track everything in here and it's completely free. So in my opinion, it's better than Pipedrive because it does the exact same thing and it doesn't cost a penny. Now, the way you actually find these templates is all you have to do, head over to the template link here and then just go over to the sales CRM, click use this template and it will load directly in your templates. So if you just click there, as you can see, now I have two. So I'm just going to delete this one real quick. And you could do tons of things. This isn't going to be a full Notion tutorial because it's not that hard to use, but you can name it here. You can name it email. So you can name it email CRM. And maybe you can do an email CRM, DM, and like even an Upwork CRM, etc. And then you can compare each one and the results that it gets you. So we're going to start off by just taking you through each column and how I usually like to design it. So what I like to do is organize it this way. So lead, qualified lead, proposal, negotiation, closed, and lost. And one columns that I like to add is follow-up. So I put follow-up and then I put 10 days. And a follow-up again for 30 days. So if I go over here again, I'm going to put 30 days. And then we're just going to drag. So you can just drag and drop and put lost at the end. So what this means is that you've got a full funnel here. Okay, you've got the leads that you've got. Then you've got the qualification processes, the proposals that you sent. You've got the ones that reply and then you can negotiate with them. And then you've got the ones that you close. So maybe we can even put close here. Then you follow them up in 10 days and you follow them up again in 30 days. And the way you can track that is just by double clicking in here. And then we've got the sections in here as well. So this is one that Notion's already made for us. So what we can do is we can put priority. I like to create my own tags here as well. And I'll create a new tag. And one of the tags I would actually put is like urgent. So these are ones that are like leads that are super hot. So if you've got a super hot lead and you want to make sure that you can DM them, email them, contact them on like Instagram, Facebook, any type of way that you want to get in contact with these type of leads, I put these leads as absolute urgent. Okay, so you can just go here, click there, and then you can just change this to urgent, and then you can just put that as pink, for example. Now we know that this lead, its priority is urgent. We need to make sure that we stay in contact with them because they're high value, as you can see, a $20,000 potential client. Now, if you go down, you can see You've got the different information that you can put. So you can put background information about the client. You can put the history of interactions you've had with the client. Maybe you can write some notes ahead of a meeting. So if the client says, hey, we've got a meeting on the 20th, then you can just hop into Notion, write down a few things, and then get straight back to work. And you don't have to worry about being in a rush before the meeting. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to do some lead gen. Okay, so we're going to find some email leads. So what first thing we're going to do is hop in one of the niches. One of the best niches, in my opinion, at the moment is probably the dental niche, because it's still thriving. Like, even though everybody is everyone's not got a lot of money at the moment, people are still buying like teeth hygiene, and you've got the gap between standard hygiene, so like urgent hygiene stuff that you need every single day, and then you've got the stuff between like teeth whitening, teeth straightening, and things that people just buy to make them feel better. So it's a great mixture between the both of them. So what I like to do is I like to start off with the area that I'm currently in. So I'll go to dental. So I'll go dentist, Birmingham. And then all we're going to do is we're going to head over to Maps. Maps is the best thing to do because it allows you to rank your search. Okay, there's no other way of really ranking search in Google. It's pretty much obviously organic to terms of SEO. But if we go into Maps and then we rank it by reviews, we can see the dentists that are like the busiest. So we don't even have to be in the area. We can do it in the USA. We can do it in any other country or city that we choose to do it. And as long as we rank it like this, we'll be able to see from a bird's eye view basically how busy the dentists are. Because in my opinion, if one's getting 650 views and the other one's only getting 26, then we know that Scott Arms potentially is more of a like active dentist. And we also know that Scott Arms is probably going to be more interested in their social media presence, in their reviews. They're more probably going to be interested in getting more customers. So what we can do, just give it a click there. And then if we scroll down, we can see all the reviews that they've got. So we can maybe even see what they're struggling with as well. So maybe we click on here and we see some of the reviews, and maybe there's a really negative review. It says, okay, so these guys had poor customer service, these type of things. It was hard to understand what they want. So we can also help solve these problems on our emails as well, and even provide them with a little bit of value in an email. So what we can do is, if we just go back to find the email, you can scroll down, find some good things on their social media. So we'll just open these up in new tabs. That's there. And then what we'll do is we'll also head over to their website. So just go over here, click on their website, and finding their email is easy. Just go into the contact section, scrolling down, and then here you go. So you've got their receptionist, and then you've got general inquiries. In my opinion, I prefer to go to the general inquiries. Now, it is harder to close leads from going through these type of things because there's a lot of decision makers in the process. So I'm also going to show you a way of trying to get past the gatekeeper, but in a way which isn't as basically in a way that isn't going to damage your reputation. Because a lot of times people send a lot of spammy emails and it damages their brand and their reputation. So we're going to go in there, we're going to log the contact. So we added it on December the 16th. We can even add their phone number. Maybe we want to give them a call if we need to. I don't really think it's worth calling these guys because most of the time they're not. Obviously the owner of the dentist isn't going to be there. So I'm going to go back here. We're going to value it on the employees. So we'll put in here value. So our average service charge is around about 1,500. So we'll put 1,500 there, and the company is a dentist. Priority is just medium. And then account owner. So if you're getting somebody to log leads for you or anything like that, if you get somebody to log organic leads for you, you can get them to put their name in here and anything like that as well. And then we just hit new customer here. And as you go down, we can put different things. So let's have a look. Maybe have a look at their social media, see what they need help on. So we open it up on Facebook. Maybe open it up on, no, that's the only ones we don't want to worry about. Let's see if they're running ads. So we can go see. I'm trying to see. So they're not running ads at the moment. So not running ads. Let's have a look. And you can just put social media. And now you always like to put like Invisalign. So I'll put Invisalign and see whether they're actually running Invisalign at the moment. So go onto here, go onto their website. So as you can see, they're also not running Invisalign as well. So that changes your outreach, because in my opinion, I like to reach out to ones that already have Invisalign. So I'd adapt my outreach for these guys because they're not. Now, if we head over to the main page, we can also try past the gatekeeper. And the way I like to do that is just to go over to their profile page, click the more section, go to the about page, see who created the page, because sometimes you can actually find the creator page and you can find the owner just like that. If you can't find it this way, because as you can see, it's not there because it's a business page, what we can do is we can go over to LinkedIn and see if we can find them on LinkedIn. So go over to here, we're just going to log in. And we're going to try and find these guys. Okay, so accept cookies. And then, so yeah, we've got it already here. And we're going to try and find it here. So we've got different members of the Scott Arms dental practice here. So if we just click see all results, and you can see the different people. The only issue is with these guys is they don't even have a picture. So I wouldn't even reach out to these ones because like these people don't even have a picture. So it's going to be hard to even reach out to them on here. But what you can also do, if you want to go 2 steps ahead, is you can find Phil here, copy his name, just like this, and you could put it into Facebook. Like honestly, I swear, if I was a stalker, I'd be the best stalker because it's so good to find these type of people. So as we can see, here we go, Phil, self-employed, and he lives in Birmingham. So this is the exact same person. The only issue is he's not that active on Facebook. So email is probably going to be the best place to contact him, unless you can find other methods or other members of the business. Maybe you'll be able to find it a lot easier. But trust me, as you go down and you start to find different businesses, like I've even found like dental practices as clients because their owner's just active on Instagram. He was like an influencer. So I managed to actually message him and get in contact with him and ended up closing a great deal. So this is how you're actually going to be able to manage it. All you need to do is just log these here, and then obviously you just log into your Gmail and send the email. Now, the email script itself is actually located in the cheat sheet. So we'll just log into that now. Now from the cheat sheet, all you need to do is just follow the cheat sheet here. You can see we've got the mastermind section, the goal setting template. We've got the niches that you need to select here. We've also got the systems and processes section. So this is where you're going to be logging your CRMs and anything like that. And you're also going to see the email script. Okay, so just go in here and you go over here. You're going to be able to see the email script. Now, inside the email script, as you can see, we're doing a fairly basic email. Now, I actually got this off one of my close friends and mentors, which is John Gabb. And I'll just use the exact same email script because it doesn't need to be too complicated. And most of all, it's more about making it personalized. This is why we're not reaching out to 30, 40, 50 and doing some crazy, insane email blast. There's no point. Okay, it's all about being personal. So this is why we use a basic script here. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to personalize each section for each business. So don't worry about sticking to one niche. Hop about in different niches. Just make sure that you test at least 30 of them. Like at least reaching out to 30 businesses in that niche. And you'll be completely fine. As long as you make sure you personalize each section. So in the first email, we've got saying hello to the business owner. And then mention that you recently came across their business. And then we mention things that are personal. So we can list things like the businesses, like what the business is struggling with, okay? The social media presence. Maybe we mention key names from the business, okay? So I'll write this down. So maybe the owners the owner's name that we found on LinkedIn. Okay, so maybe we just think a little bit outside the box and just go to the attention of in the subject header, and then business owner. Okay, so these are ways that you can personalize the email. And we can also come into the email and we can mention, so as you can see, we've got obviously reaching more vegans because your brand story, but for dentist, we would be mentioning reaching more Invisalign customers. Okay, so customers, I noticed your customers often struggle with, and then we go over to the review section over here, hop into the reviews, go over to like the 1-star reviews tend to be a bit one-sided, but if we go over here and go over here, comfortable, so they like, okay, we're comfortable. Let's go for the 1 stars. And as you can see, okay, so we've got Adam Higgins. Okay, so you can say, I noticed Adam Higgins been getting some amazing reviews. I noticed he's been working really hard. Okay, I noticed Taylor Price did really well. Okay, I noticed Taylor Price been very professional, but I'd love to get him more customers. Okay, these are the type of things that you can mention. So I noticed you've been helping customers feel at ease, you make them feel a lot better. But what about if you could get more people through the door? Okay, these are some things that I'd like to help you out with. And that's the type of personal touches that you can add to your emails, just to step through the barrier and step through the door. And then we're going to end up following them up with simple emails, just like, I noticed you see my message above, do you think it'll be of value? And then we can follow up finally with going up with Loom videos, with YouTube videos, with our social media presence, with case studies. We can follow up with tons of things in our third email. Okay, so these are the type of things that we do. And like I said, I had to do my first email initially, my second email after 10 days, and my final email after 30 days. Okay, so it's not that hard to do. When you're using Gmail, most of the emails in there, you can just add them as templates and you can send them pretty efficiently. So that's the email CRM, everybody. We're going to hop over to some DM templates and I'm going to be showing you how you cold DM businesses. So I hope you enjoyed the email section. Now, here's the key thing. If you've gone and you've checked out the email script, you see that it's fairly basic. Your emails don't need to be too advanced, because here's the thing. We like to actually deliver what I call an email handshake. And this is how you overcome the lack of human interaction between emails. It's how you overcome that trust barrier. And this is just by sending a simple Loom video. For those of you guys that don't know what a Loom video is, it's simply just a video that you send to the client. Now, one of my close friends, John Gabb, actually had the exact same situation where he received a response from an email where most people would think not to reply. The person said that they want to unsubscribe because they don't have a clue what John does and they don't have a clue why he's in their emails. Now, instead of running away and complaining, John actually decided to ask his girlfriend Mia if she could send them a quick 5-minute Loom. Now, Mia was his business partner. She created a quick 5-minute Loom, just letting them know the different services that they offered and how they could help. Now, the moral of the story is, in cold lead gen, all you're looking for is a response. It doesn't matter whether that response is positive, and it doesn't matter whether that response is negative. But as long as you get a response, you can use that to leverage and you can use that to create a relationship with them. There's nothing wrong with sending them a quick 5-minute Loom, just letting them know why you even emailed them in the first place. And that could result in the same situation that my friend John managed to achieve. Now, cold DM. Cold DM is absolutely great. And you can also see a cold DM script in the cheat sheet, but it's absolutely great for getting attention from businesses that might only work online. Me personally, if a business emailed me, I wouldn't even contact them at all. But if somebody sent the time to send me a DM, I'm more likely to reply to them because I reply to every single one of my DMs. And if you go into the cheat sheet, you'll see a full cold message script. And in that cold message script, you can see that we aim to just sell the meeting and not the service, okay? Throughout this cold DM process, we aim to focus on businesses that tend to reply to their DMs a lot more. And e-commerce businesses and service-based businesses both tend to reply to their DMs a lot more than they reply to their emails. What I like to do is grab their attention and actually create a long-term relationship. I don't always like to be so salesy and trying to be a bit of a dick. Don't actually offer your services. I had somebody message me pretending that they was asking for mentorship and then they wanted to sell me on something, and I was 10 times more likely just to say no. And I feel like that's the same for everybody else. Cold DM, there's no secret science to it. Just like I said before, it's a numbers game. So let's go through, reach out to more than 300 businesses in a month, create that relationship and send some cold looms. And that's how you're going to be able to go through and progress. So what are the best platforms for cold messaging? I recommend using Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, as these are the best ones. LinkedIn is actually a rising platform. So if you can get on there as soon as possible and start creating a relationship with business owners, you're going to be 10 times more successful. I believe that LinkedIn is possibly the future for business relationship, as each platform is now starting to take on their own, and each platform is now starting to separate from the other. You know, Facebook is known for communicating with your friends. Instagram is now made for like influencing and showing lifestyle, and LinkedIn stayed specifically for business that whole period of time. So LinkedIn definitely starting to grow. And if you want to use any of these platforms to communicate, simply use the cheat sheet we have prescribed. Okay, so welcome to the cold messaging part of the course. Now this part is where we're going to be going through all things cold messaging, and I'm going to switch this up a little bit and I'm going to do e-commerce businesses. Okay, so for those of you guys that have been scooping through this course trying to find the e-commerce business part, congratulations, because I'm going to show you how you can reach out to e-commerce businesses, and I'm going to show you every single strategy in the book. Trust me, from somebody that owns multiple e-commerce brands, this is going to be a good bit of value. Okay, so here's how we're going to be able to find out how we can reach out to e-commerce businesses. First thing you need to do is log on to notion.so. Now for those of you guys that have watched the first part, you'll know what Notion is, but I'm just going to run through it real quick. Notion is a CRM software and it's got everything. So it's got everything from CRM, goal tracking. It's kind of like one of those things where it's just got a little bit of everything. Now the way we're going to get the CRM software is we're just going to go to templates. And on the right hand side, you can see a little bit of everything. So for designers, it's great for you, human resources, personal tracking, and literally everything in the book. But we're going to start off with the sales CRM. So all you have to do is literally click there and then click use this template and you'll be ready to go. Now, a few things that I change in this template is I reorganize them a little bit. So this should look a little bit like this. Then what I also do is I actually add two other sections in here. So I add follow up after 10 days and follow up after 30 days. And then I also put the close section here. Now with the follow up in 30 days, after 30 days, I like to actually send a loom, because if you think about it like this, it's going to take you a few minutes to send a DM, or maybe like half a minute to send a DM. So you don't want to waste that time. So there's nothing wrong with investing a little bit extra, just an extra 2-3 minutes, just making a quick loom where you can send it to clients, where you can potentially push them over the edge to potentially buying your service. Okay, so then we've got the closed section here, and then we've got the lost section here. So lost clients, I reach out to them again just with one last message. After like 2-3 months, I'll just send them another message, or sometimes I'll be honest, I even just put them back in the CRM because I've got people that do outreach for me at this stage, and you can just put that back into there. But for you guys, I recommend following this strategy, gathering the leads and then logging them in here and then slowly taking them through each one. So initially you don't need to qualify them. You can set an own day, set in the evening or something like that to qualify the leads, and then you can reach out to the leads in the start of the day. So as we went over our first work block and our second work block, where I scrape leads in my second work block. That's very important. Then I reach out to leads in my first work block. So it's kind of like a cycle. Now how we're going to find leads is just going to go over here, and this is one of my old e-commerce websites, fairly old actually, and you'll be able to see we have like tons of different brands that I've already added, tons of different influencers that I've already added, but I'm going to be showing you how you can actually find them when you just don't have any brands at the moment. When I first started, I had no brands and I didn't understand why some people just go into suggested and just find them straight away. So what we're going to start off with, we're going to start off with the very first one, which we can do clothing brands. So just type in clothing, and then we're actually going to go to the hashtag clothing. So there's tons of different ones. There's clothing, hashtag clothing brands, all the different hashtags that you can search from. And what I like to do is just go across here. We might actually go to clothing brand because it's going to be a little bit easier. So go here, clothing brand. And as you can see, we've already got some brands here already. So we'll open these up in some new tabs. But I'm going to show you the hashtag way of searching as well. So it's going to go over here. I'm just going to go in here. We're going to type in clothing brand. Search from here. And then if we just scroll down, we've got tons of different clothing brands. So we'll start off with the first one. As you can see, so we're overly grateful for the support shown in the release here. So this is a clothing brand. Then what we're going to do is we'll have a look. So these guys only actually have 1,000 followers. But the cool thing is they actually do have their CEO in the bio. So that means we can reach out to the CEO pretty easily. But it is a small brand. So these guys might not be the best to reach out to and charge them 2-3K a month. But it's always good to have these ones in your circulation. So if you're trying to go for the value stack method, then it's probably worth just following these guys on your own account and trying to get them to follow you back, following the CEO, liking some photos, trying to get them to follow you back. But if you're trying to outreach, I wouldn't outreach to this one. What I would do is then go to the suggested, and now you'll be able to find suggested businesses to reach out to that might be outside of your current circle. When I first started, I was finding it hard to even use the suggested tab because it was just giving me the biggest, the biggest accounts in my area. So this is the way you'll be able to find ones that are outside of your area. And all we're going to do is just going to open them all up in new tabs, as you can see at the top. We can get rid of these ones. And then as you can see, we could just go through and start seeing some larger accounts. Okay, so this one's got 56K. So it's called Body of God. These clients are actually pretty good as well, actually, because it's a print on demand client. They've got fairly high margins. They're going to have great shipping times, and he's going to be a great client to reach out to. As you can see, they're doing influencer marketing over here. And all we need to do is just send them a DM when you're ready. So what I do is I follow all of these on your personal account or on a different account. I'd recommend reaching out to them on your personal account because that means that you might get followed back and it can take a scroll through it to gain more trust. But just as you see here, right? So when we do suggested on larger accounts, it will give us nothing but verified and really big accounts. But if we do suggested on the smaller accounts like these ones, it gives us nothing but clothing brands. So that's very important. It's something I see nobody talking about. So what I'd do is I'd go through and I'd literally action block my account to the point where I've followed all of these, and then you can go back and then you can start working your way backwards and DMing each and every one. Now what you can do is you can also check to see if they're qualified. So after you've added them in your CRM, so easy way of doing that, for example, is we just go up here, click here, go up here, and then we can just add a new account here. So double click here, go to new customer. Then we go over here, we log in the date. We can put in our estimated value, which is going to be 2K. 2K over here. Then we can put in their company if we need to. So the company is going to be right here. And then we can also put another clickable URL here. Now I make my own templates to where I've got things to do and I stack it out. So like outreach, qualify, etc., etc. But initially that's all you need to do. Maybe you can even log in some things that you see. So what we can do is we can see if these guys are already running ads. And the way we're going to do that is just going to go over to their website here. Scroll down to the bottom. Now we can do two things. We can do the Shopify helper. Now these guys aren't a Shopify store, they're clearly WooCommerce. But if you use the Shopify inspector, this will show you whether they're already running ads. And you can also use the tool Commerce Inspector as well. And that's going to show up if they're running ads as well. But they have to be a Shopify store to do that. If they're not, all you need to do, head over to their Facebook page, scroll down, and then you're going to see page transparency. And as you can see, these guys have how many followers? So they have 5,000 followers and they're not running any type of ads. So it's clear that these guys are trying to scale, but they're struggling. And these are the great businesses to start off with, because they're going to be fairly easy for you to obviously scale them up. You just want remarketing ads with a remarketing funnel that I'm going to show you. $100 a day, $50 a day, and it will be completely fine to get results. So that's how we're going to scrape it. Now I'll show that one more time with a different business. So we're going to head over to the page. We're going to go over to the clothing website, as we can see, Covered by God. These guys actually are Shopify stores. So we're going to click on Commerce Inspector. Let Commerce Inspector do its thing. 1 second, allow. These guys have a ton of pop-ups. So I'll click here. So we can already see the structure of their page. So they've got tons of apps they're using. We can even see their best sellers here. So we can add that in here. And then we can add that to the notes over here. So that's also going to be a great way. Let us put it in here. New customer. And we can put it in the notes section what their best seller is. So maybe we say that in the email. So maybe when we send an email, I'll say, hey, we noticed your Black Knight tee is a great. So me personally, I'd just put, so you're looking to get more sales of your Black Knight tee. And they'll be like, hey, how did this guy even know that this is our best seller? Like they're just automatically going to think that you're some kind of, got some superpower expert abilities. But right, so we're going to go on here. We're going to scroll down and we're going to see where their Facebook page is. Okay, so their Facebook page is here. Let's see if these guys are running any type of advertising. Scroll down, see page transparency. So these guys are running ads. So let's see what ads they're running. So they're not running ads where I am currently in. They're only running in the USA. That's interesting. But they are running a ton of ads. But they're not testing any other creatives. They're testing one style of creatives. And every single creative is the same ad copy. So these guys, I'll be honest with you, they probably don't know how to run ads. Or whoever's running ads for them, they don't know how to run ads. They probably found one ad that works and they're scaling it up. But with Facebook's new dynamics, with the current situation going on, Facebook, you need to test. You need to test different style of creatives. Carousels, I'm sorry, but carousels just ain't going to cut it anymore. So these are the type of guys that you can reach out to. These are the type of guys that if you deliver some value, you're likely to get them as a client. And that's just one other way of getting them. Now, what are we going to say to them? So we know how to get them on our Instagram. We know how to get them in our CRM. But what are we actually going to say to them? So what we're actually going to say to them is, let me just add their name in here, because I do what I say, guys, and I'll probably be reaching out to these guys. Yeah, we'll add it in here. Just put 2K in here and then put that there. There you go, and that's the lead logged. Now, how are we going to message them and what exactly we're going to say? So we're just going to head over to the cheat sheet here. And we're going to go over to the cold DM template. Now from the cold DM template, as you can see, this is the full messaging psychology. It also goes through the different platforms that you can go onto. And then we've got the messaging funnel as well. Now the messaging funnel is all based around delivering as much value as you possibly can. And it's nothing complicated. As I will keep on saying to you guys, there is no secret. It's all about staying consistent with the businesses that you are outreaching to. So here's the example. We've got Hey Name. So we can probably even find the CEO's name, but we can even just put Hey in the clothing brand. So Hey, Covered by God. I noticed something that was a little bit interesting regarding your current marketing strategy. Okay, so how are we going to make this a little bit unique? So what we can do here is we can say, hey, Covered by God, I noticed your, so we can put, hey, Covered by God, if you want to start selling more of your Black Knight tee, I recommend you listen to the rest of this message, or I recommend you watch this video. Okay, so you can say, hey, so you can put something like this. So I'll put an example in the cheat sheet now. If you want to sell more of your Black Knight tee, I recommend testing some new creatives. If you'd like a free strategy, then just send me back the fire emoji, something like that, because it's nothing too serious. It's fairly easy method, and it's a win-win. Okay, you're not asking for anything, you're not asking for anything in return. Okay, a lot of times I even have people in my DMs asking me like, hey, I'm an agency, I do this, I do that, here's what I do. And I'll be honest, it's absolutely boring. Okay, if somebody messages me something like this, they know my business, they know what my best seller is, and they're just saying, look, just send me back the fire emoji, I'm going to give you something for completely free. From when I sent back that fire emoji, I've responded. We're now basically in a business relationship, and they didn't ask for nothing in return. The only time I've managed to get on calls with people, and I've actually got on calls with people and signed 3-4 month contracts paying 3-4 grand. And the reason for that is because they come with nothing but value. Okay, they're like, hey, I know I can help you, and here's how I can help you. And they don't ask for anything in return. So these are the examples, and that's going to be a great way to basically reach out to leads. Okay, so once we reach out to them, we definitely need to follow up with them after 10 days. So what is it that we're going to say after a few days? So initially we can come and we can say this. And nowadays, guys, for those of you guys watching, I would probably get rid of this agency part, like I run an agency, blah blah blah. They're going to see that in your bio, so probably don't send that. Next thing I do, as you can see, we've got my old link in here, Wolf Marketing, which was my original agency. And as you can see here, so once they reply, you can say, look, let's hop on a quick call. I hope you like the value that I gave you, and I've got even more tips that I want to share with you. Okay, I've seen your creatives, I've seen you're scaling up this carousel ad, but that's not going to help you in the long term. Okay, let's hop on a quick 30-minute call to see if I can help you and to give you some new creatives that you can run. Boom. And as you can see here, you've got a notice you didn't reply to my email or message, and you send them one last message. And in all honesty, guys, like you're seeing, I take it to the step above, and that's what you should do. If you get to the third, fourth message and they've been reading it but not replying, just send them a loom. Just send them a loom. There's nothing wrong with investing another 5 minutes. You've already invested days and days into messaging these guys. Just invest another 5 minutes and send them a quick loom, and then you'll be able to get them on a call. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial for cold messaging and basically cold DMs. It's exactly the same for Facebook, just as it is for Instagram. And as long as you stay organized with these CRMs, and as long as you just keep disciplined and log in and DMing them, there's no reason why you can't close some deals and get on some calls with some people. So I hope you like this tutorial. Now let's move on to the next one. Now, without a doubt, this is actually one of the most important things that I could ever express. And this is becoming the go-to guy or girl. Becoming the go-to person is all based on providing as much value as you possibly can. Because without a doubt, cold messaging is great, email is great, Upwork's great, and all these different outreach methods that I'm showing you are absolutely great. But they're not as good as becoming the go-to person. If you bring in becoming a go-to person into your daily routine, you start providing a lot of value in different Facebook groups and start to become the go-to person. That's going to allow you to accelerate way further than anybody else. Groups that I like to use for e-com are groups like Facebook Ad Buyers, Facebook Ads Mastermind, ClickFunnels on Facebook Ads, and e-com Empires. Now, here's a great tip. Focus on your customer avatar. Where do they spend their time? What do they do? What are they interested in? For example, I had a restaurant client, and the way I managed to actually get them is I just went into a restaurant Facebook group and just delivered insane value on advertising. I didn't ask for nothing. And here's a great example of that. So this is a great example of being value focused. This is a post that we put in our own Facebook group, and we never sell anything. Quite frankly, we haven't got much to sell, but as you can see, we just deliver nothing but value. And this is a clean Facebook ad strategy and how to make 2 to 3x results, and it's going through different things in terms of Facebook ads, in terms of lifestyle photos, in terms of creating different creatives, and the only thing you ask in return is for them to add you on social media. Now, for those of you guys that know me, you'll know that this strategy holds a very close place to me. This is the first strategy I actually used to get some success, and it's an amazing strategy for those of you guys that want to do social media management, email marketing, Facebook ads. It's a platform that you can do practically anything. So here is a completely free Upwork strategy. Yo guys, I thought I'd make this video kind of like a quick training in terms of how you can actually use Upwork to get you clients. It's my way of giving back. I haven't got any coaching or anything like that to give away, so I thought my way of giving back to the community has helped me out a lot. I've met a lot of good guys from this group, so I thought I'd actually give this whole thing back, which has actually managed to make me over £10,000 per month profit alone just from this, and give everything away. So first things first, my name's Tyrell, and in terms of Upwork, the reason why I love it so much is because I've done the cold calls, like literally cold calling. I've done working for free. I worked free at my friend's restaurant for God knows how long, doing social media. I even worked free for my uncle. I was in that Ibiza working free for him, doing social media as well, learning ads. Obviously I built e-commerce stores myself and then leveraged that as well. I've done the networking events. Like I've physically spent like £5,000 just on networking events alone, going there every single week, staying disciplined, getting nowhere. And then as soon as I found out about Upwork, shout out Ryan Ramshaw, shout out John Gab, shout out Iman. But as soon as I found out about Upwork, my agency went from here to here. Since then I've gone on making 6 figures and whatnot. If you want to see the stripe, you can see the stripe on my last post, but it's over 10 grand pounds profit per month. And it all started with Upwork, man. Like that was one of the key things that actually took me off. So I recommend using this. So if you're making that 3 grand a month and you're looking for something else where you can leverage as well, I'd recommend doing this. If you're just starting, I'd recommend doing this as well. Upwork is a very, very good platform, and the reason why I'm giving this away is because I don't really need it anymore. So my way of giving back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to train you guys on Upwork really quick, and then I'm also going to give you my fan's going off right now, but I'm also going to give you a full cover letter, full invitation letter. I'm also going to give you my whole systems, so the videos that I use, the Loom videos I use, the social proof I incorporate, the answers to the questions so you can automate it, so it only takes you like 2 hours a day. I'll give you my booking systems in there as well. I'll also give you the keywords I search for as well. Now, all I want in return, guys, because I'm not doing anything like in the realm of like SMMA, all I ask you guys to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, right? And if you send me the subscriber confirmation, I'll send you all of this shit. Yeah, I'll send you the Upwork stuff. But for free, you're going to get a quick training on Upwork anyway, and the exact things I actually use that managed to make me money, which is the reason why you're all here. So first things first, what is Upwork and what are some of the common misconceptions, right? So the common misconceptions of people that are on Upwork is that it's actually cheap work, right? Now, I don't actually work with clients for anything less than $1,500, so that's £1,200 per month with 10% return on ad spend. So the way I actually managed to do that was basically providing as much value as possible, right? So if somebody puts up a post, I'm sending them a bespoke message every day, right? Because what else are you guys doing? If you haven't got any other clients, like you haven't got any other time, like you're not the guy that should be worrying about systems and processes. You're the guy that should be putting in that sweat equity because you need to get clients, right? So I recommend sending bespoke like messages to people, and if you really, really want clients, send them bespoke looms. Like reply to them, tell them a little bit about yourself, do something cool, do something different, and send them bespoke looms as well, right? Now, Upwork is a platform. It's basically a directory. So somebody will post on there saying, like there's literally one here right now. So they wanted somebody to run ads for their online food and drink business, right? So what you do is you create a freelancer account and you basically apply for that job. Now, applying for that job costs you, I think it costs you like 50 cents or something like that. And I usually apply for about 10 to 20 a day. But when you start out and you've got no revenue, you're just literally moving off your own back, just apply for 5 a day, right? Now, the next thing I recommend doing is actually looking at Upwork as a platform which you can actually replicate what's already working, right? So what I do here is, if you go in this top bar, you search freelancing agencies, you literally type in my name, so Tyrell Anderson Brown, or you just literally type in like Facebook ads, and just look at the top guys and the players. Look at the top players, work out what works for them, work out what keywords they're using, look at their profiles, and when you apply, it's literally copy off it, right? Copy the exact same thing, copy, paste, right? And then make it yours. So change the keywords to yours, adapt it to yours, and that way you've got something that's already working and you've adapted it to yours. One thing I actually realized was that at the time when I first joined, I put tons and tons of keywords, and then I did a bit of research, and I realized that the guys that are doing the best, they've only got like 3 keywords and they're just getting straight to the point on their profile, right? That's the next thing that you guys should be doing. So back research when you apply. First of all, research what other people are already doing well, replicate that, make it yours, and that way from the start you don't have to worry about not having no social proof, not having work history or anything like that, because you've already got something that works very, very well. Now, the next step that you need to know when joining Upwork is that you really have to understand kind of like the platform and what works and what doesn't work. Now, I'll give you a few of the mistakes I made when I first started out. So I'd apply for any job, anything, like I was really just like desperate to get clients at the start. And then what I realized was, it's not about being desperate, it's about picking you're picking the client, right? The client's not picking you, right? You want to find people that you know you can help, because if you find someone that you know that you can help, then not only are you going to be able to sell them better, but you're going to be like adamant, you're going to have complete conviction that you can help them. So you're going to be able to provide them a better service throughout, whether that's applying for a job, whether that's taking on a client and actually providing a service. If you pick the job from the start, you know that you can help them, right? So that's the next one I do. In terms of keywords, the keywords are in the sheet, but when I'm running through these, I only spend about 2 hours a morning on them. So I'd start off at 9:30 to be precise, and I'd run through it till 10:30, and I'd apply for 5 to 10 jobs. And on these jobs, it's literally easy, right? You just run through, scan through, and all you want to be doing is adding the ones that suit you. So this one says marketing social media manager, this one says video editor, so I'll leave that. This one says agency, so I'll leave that, and I'll go through. That's another jewelry company right there, right? And I'll just open them all in new tabs. And then what I'll do is, with the sheet that you should have provided to you, if you want it, all you do is just copy paste that, send it to them. That's one done. You do 10 of them a day, and by the end of the week you've already reached out to 70. Well, by the end of the week, you've reached out to 70 clients, and then over a month, that's unfathomable. Like, that is, how even is fathomable, or whatever you say, uncomprehendable. That is crazy numbers, right? That you're applying to when you look at over a year, and so forth and so forth. It shows that, like, it's just a numbers game, right? You've only got to get 2% of them, and you're already making 10k by the end of the year, right? So easy, right? Now the next thing, what's the next thing that can help you guys out? I'm literally doing this on the fly. Next thing that can help you guys out is get a credit card for job submittings, because you're actually going to get most of them for free. So if you use a credit card to submit proposals and to buy connects, you're going to get the money back, and then you can reinvest that. The next thing, so once you get to around about 3 to 4k per month, that this is very, very easy to do. Next, what I recommend to do is systemizing it. So like I said, before you're at 3k, fuck systemizing anything. Get the sweat equity in. Don't start outsourcing your applicants. Don't start trying to outsource stuff, because you're not going to know anything about what you're doing, right? You need to be doing it first, and then you want to, like, once you do it first, you're experienced in it, you're going to be able to employ people better at that. Like my ads manager, like the guy who's winning my ads, he's a stone cold killer, because I'm a stone cold killer at ads. That's just how it works, right? So what you want to be doing is, you want to be doing the hard work until you get to that point, and then you want to be looking to outsource stuff, right? See too many people messing around like that. So after you hit that 3k mark, what you want to be doing is looking at Upwork is like, how can I systemize this? Now we also have other strategies, and this is one I like to call the undercover agency owner, also another strategy I actually use to find clients. So as you can already guess from now, there is no specific one strategy that's going to help you be successful, because I've actually used every single strategy that I'm giving you now to get clients. And this is also a very, very great one. Now, this is called the freelance method, the undercover agency owner. And it's a way of using freelance gateways and freelance platforms to get your foot through the door with business owners. And I've used startup websites and blue chip company websites to get my foot through the door with businesses and be successful. These ones are a little bit different. And for this one, I actually recommend either cold message or cold looms to get your foot through the door and to basically create a relationship with the business owners, and just to let them know that instead of hiring somebody, like, why would you hire somebody that has not a lot of experience? You're going to have to spend tons of money to train them up. And most importantly, you're going to have to pay for their pension. Why not hire somebody that's a specialist on a contract basis that you can get rid of whenever you want if they don't get you results? You can do it for a lot cheaper than it's going to cost you to pay somebody for a whole entire year with no exact ROI. These platforms like Indeed, Angel.co, and obviously Upwork.com are great websites to get started and get your foot through the door with freelance. It also helps by building your skills because you can hire people way more effectively. So this is how we're going to be able to reach out to startups, and how we're also going to reach out to other businesses that are posting jobs and looking for the positions that you are able to fill. So we're going to reach out first of all to Indeed, and next we're going to reach out to Angel.co. Now, Indeed is actually the job website, and currently I'm in Spain, so this is why it's in Spanish. So I need to get that changed to English. Let me just get that changed as well in a second. But here you also do see that we have Angel.co as well, which is a startup website. So this is where you can find fintechs, you can find like VC-backed companies. You can find multi-billion companies, like multi-billion-dollar companies that are just about to start up. So that also allows you to find the talent. So as you can see, you can go to find jobs, and then you can just log in and you'll be able to find jobs in there as well. So I'm just going to log into both of these, basically both of these platforms, and then we'll go through with exactly how you're able to find leads on this platform. Okay, so we're now logged into both platforms. First of all, I'm going to be showing you AngelList and the offers that AngelList have. So once you log into AngelList, you're going to see different sections. You'll see jobs, you'll see applied, and you'll also see messages. Now, I didn't actually apply to any of these guys. Okay, applying through AngelList opens up tons of different complications. People are going to think you're applying just for a job, and it's going to be harder for you to get past that barrier of saying, look, I'm not applying for a job, I'm a business owner. And it's going to kind of set up these type of issues that you're facing. So what I like to do is I log all of these businesses. As you can see, there's more than 732 businesses that are looking for social media managements. They're looking for social media solutions, and they have a current problem with their social media. Okay, and this is only narrowed down by e-commerce businesses. So as you can see, Angel.co is definitely the best place to go when you're coming to looking for higher ticket leads. Now, what we're going to do to find these guys and to actually reach out to these guys is we're going to start to actually do some social media surfing and seeing where we can find them. So it's very easy. As you can see, these guys are a marketing agency, so we're not going to go for these guys. So the marketing agency, they didn't know a clue what they're doing. So as you can see, right, we're going to go over here, helping businesses see in the digital landscape. So these guys are software, so we can use softwares. We don't mind reaching out to those type of guys, some SaaS companies, but we want to look for companies that are e-commerce businesses. Okay, so websites, maybe we've got more marketplaces, but I want to find something that's not a SaaS company. Fintech is okay, we could even go for fintech, but let's find something that is a little bit more interesting. Let's find a brand. Let's find, so event tickets. This is interesting, but these guys aren't going to be doing too well. Transforming the way we move. So Shift. So Shift are looking for growth manager. Nope, we're not going to be covering that one. Marketing, referral codes, referral schemes, all in one place. So these guys are going to be a SaaS company as well. So as you can see, there is a lot of SaaS companies. There's nothing wrong with reaching out to them. Sash niche is actually very, very good, but like I said, I want to stick to the e-commerce niche for you guys. A film design studio, personalization for beauty companies, boom. So I like these guys. As you can see, they haven't raised much money, as you can see on the platform, but we do have the founder. So on the platform, these guys might not have raised much money, but you never know, and it's always good to make these type of business relations. So we're going to find this lady here, and we're going to shoot her a message and see if we can make a good business relationship. So we're going to reach out to these guys over here, and as you can see, she's got it plastered all over her social media that she's the CEO. You can see she's even in the Guardian, she's in different magazines. So this person will be a great person to A, be a client, and B, if you can't even become a client, like she didn't become your client, she's going to have amazing business relationships with other beauty companies. And as you can see, she's also part of L'Oreal Accelerator. So this just got very intense. So you can shoot out a connection to them, you can send her a connection. After she's connected, you'll be able to send her a message. But we don't want to wait for LinkedIn, and LinkedIn's poor network. What we can do is we can just reach out to her on Facebook. So let's go over here, let's type in here Facebook or even Instagram. So Facebook, and as you can see, just like that, we don't have to pay for nothing. What? That's the one thing that LinkedIn stressing me out with sometimes. You always have to pay for stuff, but we don't have to do none of that, because if we just go to Facebook, we can just contact her on Facebook. As you can see, we've got the company here, My Beauty Matches. We've got a whole lot of detail about her business. We can go on pages, read up on our pages, stuff like this. These type of clients, you want to use the cold messaging template that you've already seen, but you want to put in a lot more effort. Okay, you want to build in a lot more rapport with her. Okay, so for the bants, I'll reach out to her right now. So I'll put, hey, what's her name? Hey Noel. And I was gonna put congratulations on all the success with My Beauty Matches. Yeah, I can't spell, don't worry about that, but here we go. So I'll just put, hey Noel, congratulations with all the success on My Beauty Matches, and you just send her a message. It's as simple as that. Now all you need to do is just log that in here, and then you can follow up with her with more things. So you can follow up with her the next day or like a few days later and say, hey Noel, I took a quick look at your website and noticed that there's a few things that you can do on your website. Hey Noel, hey Nadima, so I took a look at your Facebook ads, and I noticed that you're not even running any Facebook ads, but let's take a look. Let's see if she is. So she's already got, as you can see, she's already got 15,000, and that's probably from her personal brand. I've just came over to her business, and as you can see, these guys are not running any ads. So they've already got 15,000 people that are probably interested in their business. Let's see if she's got Instagram. She has it in here. So she don't have her Instagram in here. Let's go on her website, see if we can find it on her website. Instagram right there. See how many followers she got on IG. She got 10k followers on IG as well. She bought those followers. She did buy those followers. So even though those followers are bought, as you can see, these are the type of business relationships you can make. And it's clear that she does have some kind of business relationships online, and it's a great person to create business relationship with. And it all started from Angel.co. So you do the exact same thing over and over and over and over again on these type of things. And it don't even have to be specifically e-commerce. Now, you don't even have to narrow it down by too many keywords. You can just put Facebook advertising, or you can put like paid marketing, paid media, or media buyer, this type of things. Media buyer is going to get you tons of different agencies, but as you can see here, if you just scroll through, filter out all the other agencies, you'll be finding tons and tons of businesses. And even if you find businesses that aren't necessarily looking for agencies, but they're businesses that are in your niche, you can just scrape through them over and over again. So that's AngelList. Now, what about Indeed? Indeed holds a very, very close place to my heart personally, because I've used Indeed to sign some insane clients. Like there's one client where he was actually a multi-millionaire. He just finished from selling up all of his businesses, and he just wanted to start an app, and it was just a very, very surreal experience. But I just found him through Indeed. Like I just literally tapped in here, Facebook advertising, and you just want to find people that are genuinely looking for Facebook advertising. So even if they're looking for like a business development manager, okay, PPC executives, advertising consultants, they're only looking for these big names or whatever you want to call it, because they've got a specific problem with Facebook ads. That's it. They've got a specific problem with their business that they need solving. So a lot of times businesses go and they look for hiring people to do, as you can see here, they're looking for marketing, advertising, media related fields. They're only doing that because they're struggling with one specific thing. I think this is actually TikTok. That's crazy. That is crazy. But as you can see here, we've got a team called Body Brand. So all we need to do is see if they've got any social media. Okay, sometimes they have their social media in here. If not, then we go in here and we look for Body Brand. So these guys are going hard. They're looking for a whole content producer. So these guys go hard on the content. So they might already have a great social media presence, or they might already have a great marketing presence, but there's nothing wrong with checking. So these guys are looking for a content producer, probably because they've got a really poor social media. So what does this mean? This means that they need help in this department. This means that we can solve that problem. So we go here, we type in again, Body Brand again, and then we scroll down, and we're just going to go onto Body Brand, and we're going to go on their Facebook page this time. So we're going to go onto their Facebook page here, and we're going to see what they've got. So they're permanently closed. So these guys are probably strictly looking to move into e-commerce. Let's see if they're running any Facebook ads. As you can see, these guys are not looking for Facebook ads. Okay, we know their budget is 40 to 50 grand a year. So that's about $55 to $57,000 a year for Facebook ads. So we know we can close these guys on 3K retainers to run their marketing for them. Okay, and then these are the type of ways we can do it. The great thing about Indeed is people are already blurting out what their budget is. Okay, so this is going to be an easy way of getting these type of clients. Okay, easy way. If these guys are willing to pay someone 50 grand a year to just take photos for them and run their brand, then they're going to be willing to pay much more for somebody that actually brings them a clean ROI that they can see on paper. Okay, and it's exactly the same thing. We've got car finance companies. We've got this is BT, so that's a bit too big. We've got design companies. Okay, we've got social chaps. Now, a lot of these guys, their mindset's a little bit shift. But if you find like newer companies, startup companies that are just putting information out as much as they can, and they're just looking to fill that position, then you'll be able to close these guys, especially because you guys are bespoke marketing agencies. You're not big firms, and that's probably what these guys are looking for. They're looking for pretty much individuals, and you fill that gap. The only difference is you're not going to be an employee, and you work with other businesses. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the Indeed outreach. It's literally obviously going to be the exact same. So you message them. So you go over here. You can follow them. You can shoot them a DM if you want to. So obviously you can shoot them a message if you really want to. You can follow. You can even do the drop down menu over here, and you can look at other businesses around it. So you can incorporate both the original method that I taught you and these other methods that I teach you, and eventually you'll get lead on lead that you can follow up with. It's absolutely amazing the things that you can do with e-commerce businesses, and there's like a whole pool of untouched niches because everybody wants to just fight for the same things that they've seen. So make sure you follow that strategy. I pretty much just gave away thousands of pounds worth of information there, so I hope you do enjoy it. And if I go missing, don't worry, probably been caught by all the gurus. So I hope you enjoyed this strategy, but the time goes on, we go on, and let's get into the next strategy. So let's get into the sales training. I know you guys have probably skipped to this part, the most important for you experienced people, and this is something I'm going to take you through step by step. I'm going to break you down on a sales script through every little thing you're going to need to know in sales and the exact process that I tend to go through. So please guys, if you've got any comments or anything whatsoever in terms of sales, just comment in the description and I'll put a reply in there for you. But this is the sales script training. Okay, so welcome to the sales training. Now we're going to be breaking down everything that you need to know when it comes to closing clients. Now, if you just head over to the cheat sheet, you'll be able to find this for you to use yourself. Now, I'm just going to go through each step in detail so you understand why it's there and so you understand how you can use it for your advantage, because this tool is very, very powerful. It's the same thing that's allowed me to sign 6-figure clients, all with this exact same script. Now, as you get the hang of it, you won't necessarily need a script to follow, but I still follow this exact same structure because in contrary to other people, we like to solve problems. We're not going to be the ones there just to get a quick book, and we're not going to be the ones there just to take on as many clients as we can that we can't actually help. We want to focus on finding problems and identifying a solution so we can help these clients long term. Now, as you can see on the left hand side, we've got the sections, we've got the intro, we've got the setting agendas, we've got the current reality and finding the current reality. We've got basically showing them our old ads for you guys that already have clients. And for you guys that don't, you don't actually need to use this section. We've then got the roadblocks. We then break down everything on a drawing board, and I'll show you that in a second. And then we'll go to the close as well. And then we've got some bonus weapons for you guys to use. And we also have the price. So me personally, I charge $2,500 per month with a 10% return on ad spend, and if they can't do that, we lower it down to a 5. If not, we do have other options for longer term contracts but at a higher monthly rate. So let's have a look at the intro. Now, the intro is all about setting the boundaries. Okay, we don't want this to be a job interview. We don't want this call to get ahead of us, but we also want to make sure that the client can get as much value as they possibly can from this call. So we want to make sure that we structure it properly. And how do we do that? We do that by, first of all, introducing ourselves and who we actually are. For clients that might have just came through email leads, for clients that might have came through referrals or anything like that, we want to make sure we introduce ourselves properly, and then we set the agenda for the call. So we're going to set the agenda, and the agenda is all going to be about structuring this correctly. Now, you want to be careful that you're not actually blurting it all out, because a lot of times people are very obvious that they're reading from a script. And one of the key ways that it's obvious that you're reading from a script is when you blur everything out in one breath. You want to make sure that you're using voice inflections, and you want to make sure that you're using hand gestures or anything like that you can possibly use to break up this script. Okay, you want to make sure that calls last anywhere from like half an hour. So you've got plenty of time to go into detail and to kind of use voice inflections to go through what you're actually going to discuss. Now, here's an example of what I actually say. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing on this call is we're just going to be going through 3 main things. Now, the first thing we want to go through, just to make sure that we understand everything, is we want to go through your goals, and we also want to go through the ins and outs of your business. Then we're going to go through and break down the numbers. So we're going to be working out things like your break-even ROAS. We're going to be working out all the key things that we need to go through just to find the little parts that I might be able to help you with. And to finish up with, we're just going to be going through the roadblocks, and if I feel like I can actually help you, then we can go from there. And you can say things like sound good. You can finish off with things that say, is that okay with you? But try not always to finish off with sound good as well, because I don't know what it is, that phrase sound good, it just rings off alarm bells when I'm on calls with people. I can just tell that they're just reading from probably the exact same script. But yeah, so you just want to go through, set the agenda, set basically the topic of the call so people understand the call, and they also understand what stage of the call they're at as well, because you don't want people asking about the price 24/7. I have a whole slide section going through price objections and stuff like that after the sales script as well. Now, at this stage, you want to work on setting the agenda. So as we already discussed, we set how the call is going to go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to discuss the client's goals. So clients are really high level. They don't tend to really struggle with things like time management, or even things like worrying about how much money they want to make. They're more bothered about just winning the game. Now, lower level clients, they're more worried about obviously being able to start their business, grow their business. Maybe they have a full-time job as well, so they want to quit their full-time job. And these are the things that you want to discuss. You want to be finding out and identifying what stage of their journey this client is and how you can help them get to where they want to get to. So the first thing is their 6 to 12 month goal. Now you want to make sure you write the 6 to 12 month goal down, and you also want to ask them how much are they exactly making per month. Now this isn't to work out how much you can charge them, it's just to work out how much their monthly revenue is and if they're making profit or not, because you need to know from an ads perspective how much you can actually spend comfortably per month as well. So if clients do ask you and they do feel like a personal connection with this question, just let them know that it's all about the ad side of things, and you really need to understand everything about their business to really run their marketing. Marketing is kind of like the lifeblood of most online businesses, and it's the key thing that you need to know if you're able to actually scale their business, because you need to know where they are now to know how to get them to that 6 to 12 month goal. Now, after you've gone through that, you can work on basically digging deeper, and you can also ask them about their goals and their vision for their product. Okay, where do they see their brand? Where do they see themselves? And you can really start to dig into deeper into the emotions. And trust me, when you ask this question, do not interrupt the client. Just sit down and listen, because you really need to understand their goals and their vision. And this is how you become a partner of a business and not an employee of a business. Now, make sure after you've done that, you actually recap just to confirm everything that you've been through, because this helps with clients that might not even be on the actual camera. So if you're not on the camera, they might not even think that you're paying attention. And it also helps just to go through and just to double down on the questions that you've asked as well. So always make sure to recap and reframe after every single section that we've got on the left-hand side. So after we've understood where they are, we need to dig deeper into this. Just as I said, we're trying to become a partner of the business. So we need to break down where they are right now and basically bridge the gap between their current reality and their goal. So we mentioned how much they want to be making, and we then go into how much they're making, and then we want to ask them what is their strategy to get them there. So if they're making 20 grand per month and they want to go to making 100 grand per month, well, what's their strategy for how they're going to get there? What have they been doing so far to get them to the 20 grand per month? And you can really start to educate yourself on the business and understand even more about the goals that they want to achieve and how you can start to solve the problems that they're having to getting them to 100k. A great way of actually standing out from other businesses is by using real life technical questions. So questions like, what's your break-even ROAS? Questions like, how many creatives have they tested? Questions like, what's their current remarketing strategy? Do they have a remarketing funnel in place? Because from this course, I'm going to be giving you a full remarketing funnel that you can use yourself. So if their ads do not look the same, then you already have a problem that you have a solution to. Now, the last thing we're going to be going through is like their Instagram ads, their Facebook ads, and the creatives. What style of their creatives have they done? How many different styles of creatives have they tested? And it also breaks down to their average order value. So you can ask them what their current average order value is and have they done anything to improve that? Have they tested any different upsells, cross sells? This section here is absolute gold. If you break down all of these different questions, queries, clients are never going to ask you, how experienced are you? Because you've explained and you've showed your experience already. So after you've worked out where they are, where they want to get to, then you can do things like discuss their lifetime value. You can also do things like explain your ads and explain your case studies if you have them. And then you can break down their roadblocks. Now, roadblocks are very key because going through their roadblocks shows their value in you. It shows the value that you have to the business without directly saying that. If you can identify key points where you can solve and actually allow the clients to put you there, then it makes it a done deal before you've even gone to the close. Now, what I like to do is I like to ask clients, okay, so what's stopping you from getting to here? How long has this been going on for? And why have you not changed this? So these are questions that you can ask, and these bring up pain points, and they're less of being like salesy or any type of sales technique, but they're more to actually understand the client's thought process behind why they haven't already changed this. Okay, so if they're struggling with Facebook ads, why haven't they invested the time and the energy into doing different ad strategies, into testing different creatives? Why haven't they invested the time and energy into doing this? Is it because they don't want to? Or is it because they don't know how to? These are the key things to work out. And always remember to recap their vision and relate this to the results that they want to actually get. Now, you can ask different questions like, was this call helpful so far? How has this call helped you? And you can also refrain and just reframe the whole call. Again, there's nothing wrong with refraining the whole call and breaking things down, because it just shows them that you're actually paying attention. Now, the last thing is a prescription. Now, if you haven't noticed so far, this is less like a sales script, and it's more like when you go to the doctors. It's more like when you go to the chiropractors or something like this. We're identifying problems and we are solving the solution. So this is where we get in a prescription, and it can go into details into showing testimonials and breaking down each part. We can also break things down on the drawing board. So there's been times before where I've gone onto online whiteboard with clients and I've broken down the TOS system. I've broken down the remarketing funnel. I've broken down the LLA strategy that we plan on using for them. And I've just done this just so it makes more visual sense for the client. Now, these problems that the clients can have, they can be broken down into 3 simple steps, and you can just write this down. So I like to just write down 3 things what the client had mentioned, which is stopping them from getting to their final destination. So if their final goal was 100K, then I'm gonna write down 3 things that's stopping them from getting there. And I'm gonna go, okay, so you need this because of this. So I'm gonna say, okay, so you need to start testing new creatives, because when you're starting to scale past 20K to 100K, as you can see, there's a sharp decline in your ads. So what this means is that you're clearly exhausting audiences and it's stopping you from being able to scale. So if you don't mind me asking, what size audiences have you been testing? And they might be like, well, we haven't even thought about that. So it can be like, okay, so you also need to make sure that you're analyzing audiences that you're going to be testing. And then you can also list these things down, and as you can see, these problems start to build up, and it starts to go from just we don't know how to run our Facebook ads to we don't know how to target, we don't know how to do creators, we don't know how to do this. And these are all the things that your job entails. These are all the things that you're going to be doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So it allows you to actually give a visual representation of how much of a service that you're going to be offering. Now you can start to see how this has been helpful so far, and you can start asking clients like, hey, okay, so where do we go from here? Okay, so like, where do you want to go through? Do you want to use the information I've just given you because we've delivered so much value, or do you want us to take care of it for you? Okay, most of the time, clients going to want you to take care of it. Now this is where we come towards the close. Now the close is very, very important, because you want to spend a lot of time in this section. Even though it's like smaller than building rapport, you still want to spend a lot of time in this section. And you don't want to just blurt it out in one instance. You don't want to blurt it out in basically one sitting. Now, this is actually called like the TOS system, and you can put any type of program name on it. You can call it the accelerator, or you can call it whatever you want to call it. Now, what I like to do is I like to list out my clients' problems in this section and show them why my program can solve it. So let me give you a quick overview of this. So we can say, based on what we've discussed, as you can see, what you're struggling with is you're struggling with testing new creatives, you're struggling to scale, and you're also struggling with consistency. So I think the best thing for you would actually be our 90-day program. Now, our 90-day program is called something called the TOS system. Now, we are e-commerce agency. We're very geeky when it comes to our names, but it's nothing complicated. Okay, all TOS means is testing, optimizing, and scaling. And I think this will be the best thing for you. Won't you agree? And then they can go, okay, so tell me more about the TOS system, or you just want to try to break up this part into as much depth as you possibly can. So once you've broken up this part and you've asked them, could you agree that TOS can help them? Can you agree that a 90-day program to basically balance out your testing, optimizing, scaling can help you? And they'll be like, okay, but how exactly are you going to be able to help me? And I'll go, okay, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to test. So we're going to test different creatives. We're going to test different marketing angles, different audiences, different audience sizes, different remarketing funnels, different upsells, different cross sells. We're going to be doing that every single week. And as you can see, if we just pause a second from the sales script, as you can see, we've separated this testing section and just gone from just testing, but we've broken down exactly what we're going to be testing, why we're going to be testing, and the different creatives, the different marketing techniques that you're going to be doing. It's basically showing your experience, and then you can reframe after each section. So you can do the exact same thing for optimization. You can do the exact same thing for scaling. Now, as we get to the final section, we also have some bonuses as well. So we offer bi-weekly calls. We also offer reports as well. So we have a weekly reporting system through Magix that updates the client weekly, and it gives them a visual representation of their cold traffic, their warm traffic, their hot traffic, and their reacquisition traffic as well. And then we also do monthly coaching calls. Now this is to go through the client's funnel, have a look if there's anything else that we can help them with. And then the final thing is 24/7 communication, and that's directly through Slack as well. Now, one thing that not many people talk about is the guarantee, and we only offer this guarantee for clients that actually have 6 months of spend, okay? Because if you're offering a 1.5x return guarantee for every single client, and you have clients that don't have any spend, you have clients that where the ads are failing, this is going to cost you a lot of money. So what you want to do is make sure that when you're discussing with clients, or if you want to give a guarantee, you're only giving guarantees to clients that already have spend. So you can analyze their past data, and you'll be able to see, well, if they're already getting a 1x ROAS, if they're already getting a 1.5x ROAS anyway, then ideally you should be doing better than that, because that's the whole point what they're employing you for. So that is the guarantee that we do offer. And then we do have basically some counters as well, as you can see, some weapons that you guys can use. And then we do also have the service charge. Now, our service charge that we offer is $2,500 a month and 10% return on ad spend. But you guys feel free to change this, okay? Like we said, the lowest service charge that you can do is $750. But if you guys are doing $750, then do not close the deal at $750 if you're not getting ROAS. Otherwise, there's no point. Okay, so that's everything from the sales script, and I hope you really found it valuable. I hope you really did enjoy it. So let's get on to the rest of the course. So as you've probably already seen from going through the script, you know that it's designed on solving problems. Now, you can't solve the problem for the client if you don't actually know your service. I see tons of agencies going out there and just being glorified salespeople without not exactly understanding the service that they do, understanding the processes that's involved, and knowing this, even just in general, is going to allow you to close people 10 times easier. Don't be afraid to ask your contractor. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to learn. One of the greatest quotes is, "He who knows everything knows nothing at all." And this is the great example. People who think they know everything about advertising or about being an agency owner, they know nothing. You can start to understand and learn more things by practicing ads yourself, using the strategy I'm going to give you, and it's going to save you money. It's going to allow you to hire people correctly because you know what you're looking for. You know the results you expect. You can see through the BS. One great example is when I first started, I ended up hiring somebody that I thought would be able to deliver the service. And with the experience that I've got now, I would have just breezed right past that person. I would have never employed them in the first place. And that could have all been looked past if I just started to learn more about what I'm doing, more about the industry that I'm in, and follow videos just like this. A great way of obviously understanding your service is understanding the bigger players in your client's industry, understanding the main problems that the whole industry has, maybe even just taking 5 minutes to look at your client's competitors. I'll also show you more about this in the Facebook advertising section. Now, also aim to be a problem solver. When we broke down the script, you'll also see that there's a problem and solution, okay? You're just identifying the problem and you're prescribing the correct solution. What type of advertising strategy you're going to use? What type of audiences are you going to target? What type of step-by-step campaign structure you're going to do? You're going to see in our campaign structure, we have cold targeting, warm targeting, reacquisition campaigns. These are type of things that, I'll be honest, it may look simple, but trust me, not many Facebook advertising people are doing this. And you're going to stand out on the call just by going through and prescribing these things. Now, the main thing to also understand is when a client says that they're worried about ads and the ads ain't working for them, that isn't the issue. The main issue behind this is they want more customers. They want more customers because they want to spend more time at home. They want to be able to buy that fancy car, and they've probably got the same goals that you've got. You know, if you look at your book that you should have already written and you compare that to your client's goals after you've been on the call, you'll probably see that you share the same vision. Now, once a client offloads these visions to you and they offload what they want to do, it's so much easier to go through the call, and you can be a lot more casual than you probably think. And here's also one thing I wanted to actually double down on, and this is how to close. Closing is very, very important, and it's something you should be practicing at least 3 times a day. You should read the script to yourself. You should repeat the script. You should practice it. You should practice even selling yourself. And this is something that's going to allow you to close a lot more effectively. You know, when clients ask you for the price, just don't give them the price. It's going to allow you to build in more curiosity. When people really push, yeah, give them the price. But a lot of times, if you followed the script correctly, you've laid the correct foundations, then they're only going to ask the price out of curiosity, and you could just tell them you're not at that stage yet. Also, refresh what they want to say. Now, I did go through this a little bit, but I'm going to double down on this. Refresh, refrain. Go back over the problems that they had. There's nothing wrong with going back to the beginning of the call and re-going through the goals that the client had, just to let them know that you understand and just to let them know that you're not just following some random script. And also remember, when selling your price, there's always a middle ground. You don't have to be afraid to start in the middle ground. You don't have to be afraid of going through and making some type of compromise, you know? And if there's no win-win on the table, then don't be afraid to move on. Even if it's your very first call, even if it's going to be your very first client, don't be afraid to move on. Now, here are some onboarding systems for you guys once you get that client, because as you guys already know, we've got the right routines. We know what we're doing now. We're able to close on the call. All we need to do is have the right onboarding systems, and you don't need any fancy funnels. You don't need anything fancy whatsoever. All you need to do is follow this Google form that I've given you completely free in the cheat sheet. And that's what you can send off to your clients initially to get them onboarded. And once you get to 10, 20, 30K per month, you can use this. We still use this to this day, and we are way past 30K per month. So don't be afraid to use this to scale up, because it's free, keeps your overheads low, and it stops all those guys with the ClickFunnels affiliates from making money from you. It's the microphone check, mic checker. So this is the onboarding sheet. Now you're going to find this onboarding cheat sheet in the link in the description. In the cheat sheet, you can go through every single thing that I've gone through in this course, and you can use it for yourself. Now this is the onboarding. What the onboarding is used for is to help transition you from the client paying the invoice to you being able to manage your service. There's kind of like an in-between stage where you've got to gather the assets, where you've got to learn a thing or two about the business, and where you've got to transfer everything and also transfer lines of communication. Now, you never want to communicate with your clients through iMessage, through WhatsApp. There's so many problems that can occur. You always want to use Slack, and Slack is probably the most important app out there when it comes to an agency. So what you can see here, we've got the name, and then we go through, and it's called the 90-day accelerator program. Now you can name it whatever you want to do, and I always make sure that the client fills this out. If the client sends you this back and they haven't filled it out, they've rushed it, they've got someone else to do it, send it them back, because this is very, very important that this is filled out in detail. So as you can see, they've got the email address. This will collect, and it will collect the email addresses, so you can do LLAs and stuff like this once you get more people that fill the form. Then you can see we've got a booking call. Now, we do a booking call with our ads manager directly. We don't need to be there, so we don't need to be on this call. This is where the ads manager can create a relationship with the particular client. But if you are an individual, then you can put your own scheduling link here. Now, to find the link for the how you create a scheduler and how you create a scheduling link and the templates for that, that is in the free course. The free course cheat sheet. And as you go down, we've got the next questions for systems and passwords. This is where we gather the systems and passwords from the client for their Shopify, for their WooCommerce, and you'll receive that email through Gmail, whatever email you use, and you can get signed up on their Shopify. Being signed up on your client's Shopify, WooCommerce, website backend, is so important because it allows you to keep track of their best sellers, and it also allows you to cross-reference what's going on. Not all the time are you going to get the perfect metrics from Facebook, so sometimes you need to go back and check the website directly. Then we've got email systems, so you need to get added onto there. And then we go down and then we've got their business manager ID. So I just inserted a stock image into here. But what I do personally is I do a full step-by-step loom, which you can actually follow from the Facebook ads section, the basic strategy. And that is actually going to be going through how you add like the business manager, what the business manager is, how you transfer the assets, and most importantly, how you find that business ID and add me as a partner, because I don't want to be going back and forth doing some type of troubleshooting with the client. I just want them to just add me as a partner so I can do everything myself. Then we have the brand assets. This is where you transfer the assets. So the client can add a CSV file of their email list, so you can use it as a custom audience. And they can also drop you like CSV list of anything else that they have as well. Now, as you can see, we like to manage it from either lifetime value or any other metrics, so amount spent or lifetime value. And then we also have the logo. Now we need the logo for any brand assets if we're creating emails, if that's a service that you offer, or if you're actually creating creatives or anything like that. So if you need to send off some creatives to get built, then you need to send off the brand logo as well. Now, the next thing that we do have is providing any like guidelines or reference or anything like that, because a lot of times when you're launching ads, clients often ask questions about your creatives, they ask questions or anything like that. They have a lot of guidelines as a business. They have a way that they want their brand to be represented. So when you're doing copywriting, when you're creating campaigns, when you're structuring different creatives, you want them to put in as much detail in this as they possibly can. So you can either send this to your ads manager or you can refer to this yourself if you're running the creatives. After that, we then have the social media. Now you need to be added onto the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube, the website, everything you can possibly be added to as an admin. So that way you can actually manage those type of platforms. And you're also going to need the links as well. So you can put those links in the copy, or anytime you need it, you just need it just to be there. Now, this is the content link. So you want the client to create a docs file. So we have a shared Google Docs with every single one of our clients, and it's very organized. So it's going to be like a Google Drive, and each section of the Google Drive will be each one of the clients. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to get them to share the assets with you. And that way it's more easier for you to manage it. Then we have our ideal customer. So as we already spoke about finding our ideal customer, these spelling mistakes must have been there for ages. So yeah, as we have our ideal customer, and as we spoke about finding our ideal agency client, our client has their ideal customer. They have the ideal customer that they would like to find. And this helps with interest targeting. This helps with your copywriting and understanding like what style of ad copy to write. And this is all added in this section here. Now, the next section is what they don't want to look like. So obviously you can add this in an exclude list. You can test adding like using this to leverage with copywriting. You can test it in so many different ways. And the last two sections is more about the ideal customer. And then we have our communication. So all communication should be directly through Slack. Now, the reason why it should be through Slack, like I just touched on earlier, it's just about making sure that your communication is streamlined. Anytime you have to go onto WhatsApp, like for example, imagine if you had 5-10 clients. 3 of them was on WhatsApp, 2 of them was on iMessages, and then the other 5 of them was on Slack. And then you've got your designer. Your designer's on WhatsApp and your ads manager's on Skype. So these type of different communication networks is going to create a huge mess. But you can just put them all in Slack. And eventually, once you scale up, it's going to cost you like $10 a month. But it's going to make everything so much easier for lines of communication. And you can also make your own Slack channels and everything like that for your potential clients. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This was a full tutorial of the onboarding sheet, but now let's get on to the advertising, and let's get on to the advertising strategies as well. So we have the right routines. We know how to get clients. We know how to optimize the onboarding process and make it as smooth as possible. But what about our service delivery? Now, there's going to be different services like Facebook ads, social media management. There's going to be different parts of the service delivery like analysis and doing market research, maybe even optimizing the client's website a little bit, and maybe even just keeping communication with the service as well. These are all key points in your business to being successful. Communication actually being one of the main things, and following up with your clients to keep open lines of communication is actually a main thing. But we're going to start off with social media management. Now, social media management is either a service you can offer as a bonus or it's a service you can offer on its own. Now, I know people that have managed to make 2 to 5K per month just using social media management, and it's also a fairly stable income. You can upsell it to clients. Usually it costs you around about $200-$300 to get somebody to manage 5-10 accounts, and you can also use this as a way of just getting started if you don't want to do Facebook ads. Now, the average service charge you want to charge somebody is $300 per account. So that's a Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn account. Would cost somebody $900 a month. And the best platform to get clients is Upwork. The best platform for scheduling is called Social Pilot. Now you can see that in the cheat sheet. But the cons to this business model is it's very, very hard to scale. It's a fairly simple business model. We don't even need to create a full course around it because all you're doing is scheduling posts through Social Pilot for clients. But it's harder to scale past $10,000 a month because, as you already know, only charging $300 per account, you're going to need 10, 20, 30 accounts to get to where you want to get to. But here is the Facebook ads guide for those of you guys that are interested in Facebook ads and want to learn the basics. Guys, I did record this earlier, so sorry about the audio, but it's jam-packed full of value. And if you want to see some more advanced sections, or you want me to go into detail on any specific section, just let me know in the comments. This is my very first free video. It's the very first free video of its kind. And I want to make sure that you guys learn every single little thing you're going to need to know to be successful and to basically help people. So if there's anything missing from this beginner guide, just let me know in the comments and I'll create another one probably this week. Welcome to the business settings. Now, this is the key part, and this is the admin section of the business manager. It's going to be the key part for you guys to be able to add assets, to get clients, to create your own business manager as well. Now, initially, when you start with your Facebook page, you need to start off by getting your business manager verified. So get your business registered. It doesn't matter whether you already have clients or whether you don't, but it's very important that you get this business verification tick here. As you can see, we've had it since the 12th of June, and then you can also add different admin sections, and you can even add two-factor authorization. These things improve your chances of not getting blocked, which obviously means clients won't be able to run their ads. And it improves your chances of being able to get lower bids from your competitors as well. Now, what you need to do is once you've got your client and once your client has actually shared your information, you need to make sure all of your business info is filled out. Now, I'm not going to click on this because it's going to show everything personal, like my address, etc. But then once you fill out your business information, you can then go ahead, add to the payment section. Now, you want to at least add a card because you're not actually going to have to spend money on the client's ads, and you never should, but you should still at least have a card on your account that is linked with your personal name and spend a little bit of money on your business manager. We'll get more into this later on, but the main reason for this is because it actually lowers your bid and it verifies your business as well. So you can't actually verify your business on the back end if it doesn't have like the matching name of your card to the name of your, obviously the name of your personal account or the name of your business. Now, we have other steps like obviously integrations with leads. We can also go through here and go to brand safety, like the domains, etc. But this is the main section as well. So we want to make sure that our client's pixel is on this section. And then we want to also go through and make sure that our client's ad account is on this section, our client's page is on this section, their Instagram accounts on this section. And then if they have a catalog or anything like that, we want to make sure that their catalog is added too. Now you're going to be able to add all of these sections simply by clicking on them and then adding the user. So I don't want to click in here right now because it's going to show everybody's details, but all you need to do is literally click on the people section. You'll see your own name. And then all you go do is you click on the ad account or the Instagram account or the ad account, the commerce account. And then all you need to do is just add whatever people you want onto there, onto each account. Now, you're not going to be able to see this on the ad account unless you see it on the back end first. Now, for example, if we just go over to the ad account section, you can see that we not only have people in this section, but we also have the connected assets. As you see, we can't show that right now, but the connected assets are also on there and they are all linked with the Instagram account, the pixel. It's the exact same thing with the pixel as well. So you click onto the pixel and you share all of the assets as well. So that's pretty easy to set up, and it's extra easy when you follow the onboarding sheet because you'll have the business ID over there. You'll have everything over there that you need. And one thing I also wanted to cover as well, because there's a lot of points where people actually struggle, is sharing information. So you can actually share both ways. The client can request you and you can also request the client's assets. So if you do struggle and you do struggle to get the client on, then all you need to do is go over to partner section, click ask a partner to share their assets. Then you just go to get started. You put in their contact name, their email address, and then you've obviously got a backup of obviously requesting with their business ID that you're going to get from the onboarding sheet. So it's very easy, very simple to set this up. And you can also choose different roles as well. So you can say, look, I'm a media agency and my partner role is the brand or business. So that also lowers your liability for anything that goes wrong. And also lets Facebook know that you're managing this business. You are not this business. Okay. So it adds that little bit of separation on the back end as well. But without further ado, we're going to click into the top left hand section and then we're going to go over to ads. Now in the ads section, as you can see, we've got a lot going on right now, but do not worry. Okay. This is only going to be for the advanced section of the course. So if you're somebody that's all about the advanced, you want to get into that, you can skip to that now. But if you're somebody that wants to know just how to create an ad and the basic structure that we're going to be using, we're going to be covering that right now. So we're going to go to the create section. Then we're going to go over and we're going to click conversions. Now, this is the best way without a doubt to create them. Always go for conversions. If you're doing conversions for e-com, go there. And if you're doing conversions for lead generation, just click there. Lead gen and e-com, they're pretty much the exact same structures. The only thing different is obviously going to be your creative and your ad copy. Now, we're going on to the campaign name, and the campaign naming structure is very, very important. If you're not naming your campaigns in the right structure, you're going to get very confused. For example, if we just go here, we can see just how easily named these structures are. Now, if we go over to edit, this is the naming structure that we're going to do. We're going to stay in a specific structure of naming the product name. And then we're going to go ahead after just 1 second. Name, and then we're going to go ahead and then we're going to go and do conversions. So the conversion objective is interest test, and then we're going to do ABO. Okay. So the reason why we do this is so from a bird's eye view, we know that we're testing what the product is. Then we know that we're doing the interest test, and we know that we're doing an ABO. Now, once you scale up, you can break it down between cold and warm. Now, all cold means is that these are businesses these are customers that have never met the business, that they don't know anything about the business, and that's why it's called a cold audience. ABO stands for ad set budget optimization. So all that means is that you're not clicking this button here, and we'll get into ABO and CBO later on. But for now, just make sure that you don't click this button here, because that's going to keep it as ABO. Now, the ad set is where we select our audience, and this is where we target what audience we want to pick. You want to look at these tests kind of like you're putting your product in front of as many people as possible to just gauge what their response is. Initially, when you've got ad accounts that are new, or when you've got ad accounts that have been worked on in the past and they don't have the right structure, you don't necessarily know what works and what doesn't work. So this is why you want to make sure that you're testing with as broad as audience as you possibly can. Now, we don't name the ad set just yet because we don't know what audience we're going to do. We need to go and we need to select the pixel, and the pixel is where you select the data from, and you'll have that from your client anyway. With this, we're going to optimize for purchase over here, and you can see that we don't have a purchase pixel because obviously our page is lead gen, but you add the purchase event over there, and then you scroll down and then you've got the budget optimization. This is where you select the budget that you want to use, and I recommend using a daily budget of a minimum of $50. If your client can't spend $50, then do not take on the client. I can't stress this enough. You need to at least be spending $50 a day to get results that you can actually gauge. It takes months on months on months to get results for clients that aren't spending $50. So we're just going to put $10 now because we're going to start with 5 ad sets, and then we're going to go down and we're going to change the date to the next day. We always want to start the next day. The reason for that is because if we're not starting our campaigns at the start of the day, it's going to spend all of our budget. Okay, so if we tell Facebook to spend $10 from the 17th every day, it will start spending money from 11 a.m. or 12 a.m. Now, if we tell Facebook to start spending money at 7 p.m, then it's only got a few hours to spend that whole $10, and we don't want it just to throw all our money away. Okay, we want Facebook to balance this budget. Now imagine this: if you're spending 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 a day, and you've only got a few hours to spend it, you're going to lose a lot of money. So make sure that you schedule it for the next day. End dates, you never want to set end dates. And ad scheduling, you want your ads to run all the time. Now here you have your audience, and you have a difference between saved audience and creating a new audience. You want to make sure that every single time you create campaigns, you use create audience, because if you use a save audience, it will change all of your ad sets. So if you've got 5, 10, 15, 20 ad sets that you're editing over here, your save audience will change all of them at the same time. So you want to make sure that you're always using create new audience. At the moment, we're not going to use any custom audience, and we're going to start by using the big 5 countries. I recommend going with only the big 5 unless your client says otherwise. Once you work good with the big 5 and the product works, you can then ask your client if he wants to scale to e-packet countries or even at worldwide countries as well. So we're going to start off by going United Kingdom, then we're going to do Canada, then we're going to do New Zealand, and then we're going to do the United States. And finally, we'll go for Australia after. So we're going to put in there, and then we'll go Australia. And from Australia, we're just going to pop that in there. And as you can see, these are the big 5 countries. And for those of you guys that was paying attention, you see we've got 2 notifications. The reach has broadened, and it also says that we might get 0 purchases. Now, you should never worry about this. Facebook will always tell you to optimize for different events, but without a doubt, the best optimization event is purchase. And even if you have no data, do not worry. Facebook can't specifically predict and know exactly how many purchases you're going to get for spending like $10, $15, okay? It needs data to do that. So this is why it tells you that you might get 0 purchases. So we can X off this, and we can just put that up there for now. Don't worry about that. But as you can see, it says our estimated reach is 421 people to 1.2k a day. And then we can see our potential reach is over about 340 million. So we go down, and then we want to keep the age as broad as possible. We never want to keep the age too small, and we never want to predict anything. A lot of times you might want to predict, you might think, oh, this product will be good for 45 plus, this product will be good for 25 plus, but this isn't the stage that you do those tests, okay? You do those tests in the advanced section. During this first stage, when you're just testing the product, when you're just starting out an ad account, you want to go as broad as possible. So we're going all ages, all genders, and then we're going over to this section and we're actually turning this off. What this button does is it will expand your reach. Now, what do I mean by that? So if I put clothing in here, or let me put any interest. So let's just browse in here, interest, entertainment, games, board games. So if I put board games in here, then what you can see is it goes down to 17 million. Now, if I click this button here to expand interest, it will expand straight back up to 340 million. So that basically means that in this ad set, us writing board games basically means nothing, because we're not actually targeting board games, okay? It means that Facebook will go outside of the board games interest, and it will stretch outside of that potential reach. So we want to make sure that we always turn that off. So we know that this ad set is only targeting people that are interested in board games, okay? Now, as we scroll down, we've got languages, and languages, I mean, a lot of times people want to go for like English all, or specifically like English, but me, I just go for like all languages. So I'll either go all languages, or I'll go for like English all. Now, not English UK, not English US, I'll just go English all. So it's only people that speak English, and as you can see, it pretty much stays the same anyway, so it doesn't change that much. Next, we want to go for manual placements, and the reason why we go for manual placements is because we want to go for the largest real estate. So I'll explain that in a sec. In fact, I'll explain that now actually. So if we go for all platforms, okay, and then we go over here, you can see that each specific creative is a different size. So you want to make sure that your creative is built for this, okay? A lot of people do a 1080 creative, and it doesn't match the story, it doesn't match the stream, it isn't built for searches, it isn't built for messages, okay? And that's the reason why they don't get a return. So you're basically wasting money on these spaces. Now, what we like to do is just start with 1080 images and just use Facebook feed and Instagram feed. So we're going to go over here, we're going to delete all of these, and we're only going to go with these. The reason why it's so great is because A, it's the biggest real estate. Like if we look at feed and compare it to InStream, there's a big difference in the size of the images. So we want to specifically go for feed because this is going to be the biggest real estate, and it's the easiest creatives to get. And I've found the best ROI from feed anyway. So we're going to start off with Facebook, Instagram feed, and then we're just going to go back over it now. So don't worry about optimization and delivery. It should always be conversions, and you should never have cost control in it unless you're spending 2, 3, 4, 5K a day and you want to test cost control. Now, as you can go up, you can see you just want to double check everything to make sure it's okay. And then we can call out ad set names, board games, and then we can put, we're doing male and female, and then we're also doing 18 plus. Okay, so we're doing board games, we're targeting males and females, and we're doing 18 plus. So I can see from my overview that our campaign is an interest test campaign, and we're doing ABO. And then we can see that in this ad set, this audience is targeting board games, and it's doing male and female. So we want to carry on this naming structure down so we know what creative it is. Now, I like to do image creative, and then I'll just put 1.0. So if you're doing video creative, you do video creative 1.0. If you're doing carousel, you do carousel creative 1.0, etc., etc., etc. Now, in my first campaigns, I like to ask my clients for at least an image and a video. And sometimes if it's like a clothing brand, I'll do a carousel. So my first campaigns will start with an image, video, and a carousel in every single ad set. And it will be the exact same, basically the exact same image, video, and carousel in each and every single ad set. Now, If we scroll down, we can actually use the existing Facebook page. So we can just go here, use the existing Facebook page, and then we can scroll down and then we can create the ad. And this is where you select your carousel. You can advertise potential collections here as well. But mainly you want to stick with image and video at the start, and then aim to test other avenues as you start to scale. A lot of times I see accounts where they've tested one ad set that does carousel, another that does collection, another with different ad copy, and there's too many different things to realize if it's a fair test. Those of you guys that I've noticed so far, everything is pretty much the same in these ad sets, okay? So we've got like specifically one interest, specifically we're doing one creative, or we might specifically only do 3 creatives, but in every single ad set, it's going to be the exact same 3 creatives. Now, as we go down, we can have the option to do instant experience, and we're not going to use any of these. We're not going to do instant experience or any playable source, but we're going to be able to add our media here. Now, I'm just going to add any random image that's on the account so far. So we're going to start with the, we're going to do the payment gateway image just for the bants. And as you can see, we can choose to do enhanced adjustments, or we can just choose to do square. In my opinion, I mess around between square and enhanced, but I recommend just starting with enhanced for now, especially if your image isn't 1080. As you can see, my image isn't, so I've gone with enhanced just so it stretches, and it's actually quite good because it looks like it takes a little bit more real estate when you do it like this. So you can test 1080, or you can test 1920. I think this is 1920 by 1920. I can't really remember for thumbnail sizes, but this is the size that you can optionally test because it does take up a little bit more real estate on the side there. So you get pretty much more space for the same amount of money. Now here we've got the ad copy. So as you can see, we've got free course giveaway. Now this is where you're going to add the ad copy that you're going to be able to create from the tutorial that I'm going to be able to show you in the next step. But this is where you add the top copy. Then you can add the headline, so you can put on a free value, and then we can go down and we can put there you go. So as you can see, we've got our main text here, then we've got our headline, and then we've also got our underneath description here, and you can see it's in a completely different font. We can also add a display URL as well, so this is okay, but usually it will be there anyway, so we could just put youtube.com, and as you can see, that's going to be the display URL. So this is how your ads are going to pretty much look, and as you can see, it's exactly the same between Facebook and Instagram. Now if you had tons of different feeds, it would be different. It would be like one would be short and you'd only be able to see the scroll, another would be like long and you can barely see it. This is why, as you can see, we just go for a feed. Now what I like to do is I like to start with my basic strategy that obviously you'll see in the copywriting video, and then the headlines I also use only one headline, so I keep it the same. And then when it comes to the description, I actually ask the client, like, how many customers have you had, what's your best selling product, and I add these few things in here for social proof. Okay, so if they're a big client, you can say like verified by Oberlo. Okay, so there's tons of different things you can add in here just to add a little bit more social proof for those clients that really read into their ads, and it adds for like such easy conversions as well. Then if we scroll down here, we've got shop now, so we can add a shop now button. Now I like to test and split test between shop now and learn more. And then when we go down to languages, you can add different languages or translations or anything like that into your ads. Also, that's actually a great thing to test. So let's say if your client is getting the best results in like Sweden compared to in the USA, then why not test some Swedish ad copy? So just ask your client, hey, can you translate this to Swedish, and run it as an advertising test. Now, if we go back up, we can see that we've now got our campaign, which is optimizing for purchases. We're now targeting only board games, so it's only 17 million. And then when we go down, we can see that we have one image. Now, just to recap, the reason why we go above 1 million is so we can scale in this audience for a cheaper amount. If we start optimizing and we start narrowing it down to 100,000, 20,000, 30,000, it's going to cost us a lot of money. So always remember, stay above 1 million. It doesn't matter what number that is, as long as it's above 1 million. Now, what we can do is we can duplicate over here. So we can click these 3 buttons here, duplicate, and just do the exact same ad copy, headline, and everything. But we can just change this to a video. I don't have a video now, but you get the gist. So to change it as a video, you just scroll down, remove all, and then click here and then change the video, and that's what's going to be able to make it a video. So we do have one from our free course. This is from the other free course here. So as you can see, introducing the all-new adjustable laptop desk stand. So as you can see, we've now got an image and we've also got a video creative as well. So we can just so I just had to skip off of that because of the amount of noise. But as you can see, we've got the image and we've also got the video there. And that's how the structure and that's how the basic structure of the campaigns look. So now, guys, you know how to create a campaign. You know the basic rules of them if you wrote them down from the ones that I mentioned. And you also know how to add ad sets and pick your right audiences and create your creative as well. So that's the basic structure out of the way. Now let's get into the advanced stuff. So welcome to the advanced campaigns. And as you can see, we've already got the campaigns written out there. So for those of you guys that were curious and trying to work out like what were these campaigns, here is where I'm going to explain them for you. So as you already know, we structure them with our product name, our interest, and our ABO. And the reason why we go for ABO is because ABO stands for Ad Set Budget Optimization. Now that means that if we go inside this campaign, our budget is going to be specifically used on the ad set level. So each audience is going to spend the whole $10 every single day. So if that's 3 days, each ad set's going to spend a whole $30. If it's 2 days, it's 20. And 1 day is obviously it's going to spend the whole $10. Okay. Now, let's say we go to CBO. So to change it to a CBO, you just need to go to edit. Obviously, when you create an ad set, you can do it in the create section. But even if you just click here, you can see that we can now select the budget for the whole campaign. So let's say we go for the exact same budget. We go for the same $50. So now the difference is, as you can see, these now say that they're doing the campaign budget. Don't worry about this ad set. This is the board games ad set. In fact, I will delete that just to make it a little bit clearer. But as you can see in this campaign, we've now using a campaign budget. Now what that means is that the exact same $50 we was willing to spend on the ad set level is going to be spent from the campaign level. So the same amount of days, they're going to spend the same amount of money. The only difference is Facebook will spread this budget over each ad set. So this one might spend $20 and the rest might only spend the rest of that amount of money. Now, let's say if we're trying to make a test, how can this be a fair test? Because ad set over here has spent $20 and all of these ad sets here have only had the ability to spend $30. So it can't be a fair test because they haven't spent the same amount of money. So what you want to do is always make sure whenever you do a test and whenever you start testing new audiences, new creatives, new ad sets, you make sure that you're using ABO. So that way you know for a fact that it's a good audience or it's a bad audience, and that it's just been a fair test because every single audience has spent the same or pretty much the same amount of money. Now, let's get into why we have decided to structure our campaigns in this fashion. We have our cold targeting here where we're going to do LLAs. If you don't know what LLAs are, we'll get into that. But we're going to do LLAs here. We're going to do interest targeting here. And we're also going to do a difference between top of funnel, which is, middle of funnel here. And then we've also got bottom of funnel here. And then we also have a reacquisition campaign, which I see nobody talking about. So I'm going to show you not only how to do your top of funnel, which is your cold audiences, but also your middle of funnel and your bottom of funnel, and segment every single one. So first of all, we're going to start off by going into our interest testing campaign and showing you the structure that I use for my interest testing. With my interest, I like to go with a mixture of demographics, buying behaviors, and interests as well. Also, just to mention as well, one of my ad sets will actually be broad. So one of my ad sets will actually have no interest in them. And to explain that to you, it actually looks like this. So if we hop into the edit section to make a no interest campaign, you just scroll down over here. Obviously, if you watch the basics, you'd know that we'd have big 5 in here. So all of these ad sets will always target big 5. But if we scroll down, you'll see that to create a no interest campaign, you just delete this section here. So you'll go in here and then you'll click X, and then you will actually have no interest in that ad set. And you'll see the audience size will go up all the way up to 46 million people. And the reason why I like to throw in those ad sets is because it means you can't miss, okay? Broad ad sets are usually the cheapest, you usually get the cheapest engagement, and it means that you actually can't miss, okay? You can never like predict, so this interest will work, so that interest will work. So broad ad sets kind of lets Facebook do the heavy lifting, and they tend to build up campaigns and build up data for really cheap. Now, the reason why we structure it like this is because we can keep all the interests different, but the ads the same. So the ads are always going to have an image, and they're also going to have a video. So that's a image. 1 second. So let me just show that for you guys that might just have watched this campaign. So we're going to duplicate this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put in a video in this section. So we'll go over here, add image, sorry, add video here, and then we're going to add a video here. Here's a great old product for you guys here. And as you can see, we've now got a image, and we've also got a video in this section as well. So we've got a video here, and then we've also got an image here. So we can go over here, over here, over here. And then what we can do is we can just click here. And then a good trick for you guys, if you click shift on the select section, you can select all the boxes. And then we're just going to change the name over here. So we're going to go to edit, and then we can scroll down and we can change the title. So we're going to go up here. It's not letting us do it here, which is fine. We can just go to edit, select, edit, and then we can just change this to image. Okay. So now we have a image, and we also have a video in every single ad set. Now it's going to be the exact same image and the exact same video. But there is one key thing. For those of you guys that are staying smart, for those of you guys that understand Facebook ads, you'll know we've done one thing wrong. Now the thing that we have actually done wrong is this ad is not going to be the exact same as this ad. Now, how exactly do we know that? So this creative here has a different basically has a different number. Introducing. This creative here will have a completely different creative number to this one. So even though it looks the same, it's going to have different likes, different comments, different shares. And I don't see a lot of people talking about this, and I don't see a lot of agencies actually running existing posts for their clients. Now, usually the old way of doing existing posts was to duplicate it and select existing post, but I'm going to show you a strategy in how you can launch these creatives and use existing posts. Okay, so typically your ads may look a little bit like this. Now, every time you launch a new ad, even if you select existing post, you'll see that both of these are the exact same post with existing post, but they still create ad. Now, unless you change the ad copy, the only way of pretty much making it a guaranteed existing post is by using the existing post tab here. Now, an easy way of finding the exact post and making sure that it's absolutely perfect is by clicking the creative here, and then it's by going up to the top right section here, and then it's selecting select post with comments. So you just want to click here. Okay, so I just thought I'd make a quick public service announcement. Before you can see the post with comments, you need to make sure you publish the post. So make sure you publish the post. You can pause it after it's already been published. That's completely fine. But you need to publish it before you can see that post ID. Well, see post with comments. And then you can see the ID here. So the user ID, all you want to do is just copy it here. And you just want to go back. You want to head over to your ad here. Now, I'm not able to edit this one. Let's see if I'm able to edit this one here. If we go here. No, so let's go over here. So I'm just going to try it with this ad here. I'm just going to select edit. And if we just go here, select use existing post, select post. And as you can see, usually you'd have to go all the way down and select the post. But if you just click here and you paste in that post ID here and submit, this will use the existing post. Now, obviously at the moment, I don't have access to the page, but usually when you post it in here and click submit, you will have the exact same creative. Now, this is absolutely vital for any ads that you're running, and you want to share them likes, comments, engagements for your client, and you want to show that social proof as well for potential customers. This is absolutely vital. So just rewind that and go back through it again if it's a little bit confusing, but this is exactly how you find existing post. Now, after you do that, it's as easy as just duplicating this ad set to make sure that everything is the exact same. And that way you could just, for example, duplicate the ad set twice, and then all you have to change in this is the interest, because you know you've got the exact same creative. So now you know how to do existing posts and you know how to make sure both creatives are the same. We're going to go back to our campaigns and we're going to go and have a look at the second cold campaign. Now, this is what we call a lookalike audiences. And there's tons of different strategies in and around lookalike audiences. But before we understand like how we're going to do lookalike audiences, we need to first of all understand the theory. So I'm going to hop onto Online Whiteboard and we're going to break down exactly what lookalikes actually are. So go over here. And as you can see, we've got our Online Whiteboard. Now, this is just an easy way of explaining what a lookalike audience actually is. So to start off with, to create a lookalike audience, you first of all need to have some actions that have happened on your website or anything that's in and around your brand. These lookalike audiences can vary from a Facebook page. So they may be your FB. And they might be your FB page views, okay? So these are people that may have engaged with your business. You can also have your website visitors, maybe people that have visited your website, or you can have your page visitors, maybe people that have visited a specific page on your website. Now, to create this, I recommend having at least 2,000 of anything. So you need at least 2,000 Facebook page engagements, you need 2,000 website views, 2,000 page views at least to create these audience. Now, these audiences are called a custom audience. Now, that's just a fancy word for the people that are inside this audience. So this might be Claire, Sarah, Gary, all the different people that have visited your Facebook page, your client's Facebook page, and they've done specific actions, and you just want to segment those people. Now, once you've segmented that audience, you can then go and create the lookalike audience. Now, all a lookalike audience is people that have similar interests, people that have similar data on the back end to your custom audience. Because clearly, if you've got a lot of people that have done a specific action and you want to find more people that can do that, you need to have a way of doing that. And this is Facebook's way. It's called a lookalike audience. Now, lookalike audiences range from anywhere from 1 to 10%. Now, you can find success anywhere from 1% all the way to 10%. Now, I like to test every single one, 1 to 10. But initially, I like to test every single one of these custom audiences before I go ahead and start creating hundreds and hundreds of ad sets. A lot of times you have your ads manager that will just go ahead and straight away test like purchase LLA or add to cart LLA. And a lot of times you'll see clients that have done it as well, where they've gone ahead and have automatically gone and tested like page view LLA. But in an ideal world, that will work, but most of the time it doesn't. So what I like to do is create 1 to 10 LLAs, And I like to test a campaign with 5 custom audiences in. So it might be add to cart, initiate checkout, page view. You can also have custom audiences like your email list, email. Then you can also have custom audiences like purchase as well. Okay, so that gives you your 5. Now I test all of these 1 to 10, and I do it at around about a minimum of $10. So you could do dollars, $10 to $15 per ad set. Now, how does that look practically? So practically, this looks exactly the same. So when you create your LLA campaigns, as you can go over here, what we're going to do is, from an overview standpoint, we're going to have our 5 ad sets here. Now, these ones will be add to cart, initiate checkout, page view. We can do LLAs from purchase, and we can also do initiate checkout or any other custom audience. So I like to do it in 5 increments and do it in ad sets of 5, because a lot of times you don't have enough budget. But if you do have more budget, you can test different ones. Okay. Now, inside the same, we want to use the exact same post and the exact same image from the ones that have worked before. Inside of these, we can add our 1 to 10. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to create the audience. So to create an audience, you go over to the top left-hand side, you head over to the audience section, and this is where you can create your first custom audience over here. So we're going to click here, click custom audience, and then we're going to go for websites. We're then going to go ahead and we're going to start to create a website custom audience of all of our last visitors. Now, you can create them based on the amount of days when this last happened. Now, I like to start off with either 180 or 90 days. As you scale your client, you can go as low as 30 days. Initially, start off with 180 because you're going to get obviously the most data, because that's more time for people to actually come and perform your action. So we're going to go over here, and as you can see, we can do it for page view, we can do our leads, we can do people that have chats with us, we can do logins, we can even do it for specific pages and enter that page URL, and we can do page URL contains, or maybe we can do everybody that doesn't go on a specific page. Like, there are tons and tons and tons of audiences that you guys can create. So we're going to start off with 180 days. And we're going to do website visitors. Then we're going to name this website visitors 80 days. So we're going to label it here. And we're just going to put 180 days here. And then we can just create the audience. Now, sometimes your audience won't be able to create. Sometimes you'll have certain issues. A lot of times I see people try to create them too early. And that's the only time you'll have an issue, is if you create the audience a little bit too early for the time. And here's where you see your percentages, the ones we spoke about earlier. Now, as I said, you can find success at 1. You can even drag it down and you can do 1 to 9, or you can do 6 to 9. You can really mix this up. But initially, at first, I like to just start with 1 to 10, just to see if the audience works. Then when the audience works, we can then narrow it down. We can launch new campaigns and do 1 to 5. We can launch new campaigns and do each and every individual percentage. But initially, you just want to start off by doing 1 to 10. Then we want to go over to here. We want to go to our audience source. We want to start off with our pixel, and let's just make sure that's the correct pixel. So yep, that's the right pixel. Then we go over here. We're going to go for purchase pixel, and then we're going to scroll down, and we're going to start off with our selected audience location, and we're going to go for United States. Then from the United States, we're just going to go down and create this audience. And as you can see, just as an example, you can see the audience is too small. So that's a great example to show you that a lot of times your audience might just be too small to create it. Now, the way of getting around this is looking for the audience that has most visited your site and the ones that you can create the LLAs from. So once they build up and once you've managed to actually develop enough data, then you'll be able to create it. So here's an example of some of the LLAs and custom audiences that we created earlier. So we've managed to create all website visitors. As you can see, We then have like dynamic ones. We have LLAs from like 10% for last leads. There's tons and tons of different ones. But let me show you how we're going to create this LLA for last leads and how we're going to add it to our ad sets. First of all, we just need to head over to the ads manager. Then we go to the LLA campaign that we wanted to create. And let's just hop in here and we're going to name this LLA. We can just put LLA 10% and we can put dash and it's all leads. So here. So we can have, one for leads. We can also have another one here and we could have this for add to cart. So you can do LLA 10%. And then we've got add to cart, and we could do the exact same thing for this one. So it's going to be LLA dash 10%, and then it's going to be initiate checkout. And it's the exact same thing for every single campaign in terms of the naming structure. Now, in terms of creating it, you go down, our optimization is going to be lead because this is a lead based ad account. For you e-commerce guys, it's exactly the same, but it's going to be optimization for purchase. Then you go down, countries. So for those of you guys that didn't know, we're going to go for purchase, and then we're going to go for big 5. So that's United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and United States. And that's how we're going to be able to get all big 5 countries. Then we're going to go down. Instead of having our interest, which we have earlier, we're going to go over here. We're going to X off. We're going to get rid of potential reach. We're going to scroll up over here. And then this is where you're going to put in your LLA. Here, we're going to put in our lookalike audience. So we're just going to go over to this section here. And then we can scroll down and we want to select our lead in the last 10%. Now, what we can do is if you are going to test audiences like 5%, if you are going to test audiences like 2 to 4%, you can actually exclude them over here. So if you are going to test, for example, 0 to 10, you can exclude everything from 9 below. Now, that avoids you from getting overlapped from your ad repeating in different ones and stretching from different ad sets. But initially in this first campaign, we're not going to exclude anything. We're just going to do lead here. Then over here, we do add to cart. Over here, we do like initiate checkout. Here we'd go for purchase, and we'll just go through the exact same process with every single one. Now, once we've created our campaigns, once we've created our 2 cold campaigns, how exactly do we test them? When do we turn off our ad sets? When do we scale our ad sets? And here are the rules that I like to follow. So I've kept this out of the cheat sheet because I know a lot of you guys, I want to reward the guys that actually concentrate and the guys that I've actually watched. So follow this carefully, and you can give this strategy to your ads managers, or you can use this ad strategy yourself. So our testing strategy works exactly like this. Now, with your cold audiences, the main goal of the cold audience is to A, know whether our audiences are working, and B, know whether our product is working. So we need to be able to specifically identify the problems that are going over so we can find solutions. If you ever have a client that you're struggling with, or you ever have an ad account that's not working, you need to follow these rules to help you be successful. Now with cold, that is the goal. Now with warm, the goal of obviously warm creatives is to push people over the edge, is to knock objections, and you can spend a lot more time on that. With cold, we don't have a lot of time because we want to get profitable. So how are we going to test our cold creatives, and how are we going to be able to get them profitable? Now this is called the rules. You should always have testing rules. Whenever you're asking your ads managers, whenever you're hiring new people, or whenever you're advertising yourself, you need to ask them, what are their testing rules? If they don't have testing rules, they are not the person you should be hiring. Now, our first rule is for 3 days, we don't touch anything. So for 3 days, we do not touch. So for 3 days, we don't want to aim to touch anything. The reason for that is because we want to give the ads time to optimize. If we don't give the ads time to optimize, then we're not going to allow them to gather data. Now, this means if we're running $50 a day CBOs, if we're running $50 a day ABOs, we're going to be spending at least $150 before we know what works and what doesn't work. This is the key reason why we have such a tight clientele, and we don't take on any clients that can't really afford us, because we need to be able to spend money to gather data. Now, after 3 days, you're going to have some data that you can use, and you'll have data that you can clearly see. Okay, each ad set, they'll have some spend here, they'll have reach there, impressions, add to carts. You'll see there that they would have spent at least $30 an ad set. You see that they'll have some link clicks, etc. And that's how you're going to be able to analyze them. Now, after you've got the data, you need to be able to break them down, because we can't just run ad sets that are just spending money unprofitably. So the way we manage that is we manage that by cost per link click. And you can find an example of the columns in the cheat sheet, but this is the specific column that we want to analyze. So we're going to select the two ad sets here, the two campaigns here, and we're going to go over to the ad sets and we'll click onto the cost per link click, and this will actually scale all of your link clicks here. Now, in terms of your cost, you want to make sure that you're getting as cheap as clicks as possible to gather data, because over the long term, if you end up having to spend $2, $3, $4 cost per click to gather data, it's going to cost you way too much. So what we do is we go over to cost per click, and then we scout it by this, and we can manage it. And we want to kill, by kill I mean turn off, any ad set that is over $1.50. So any ad set that is more than $1.50, we want to turn that off. And that's dollars, pounds, euros, yen, any type of currency that you just want to turn it off if it's more than 1.5. Now, the only time we make an exception, as if it's more than 1.5, is if it has an add to cart, initiate checkout, or obviously a purchase, right? So if it has a add to cart, an initiate checkout, or a purchase, or in your case, if your guys are doing lead gen, you don't want to turn it off if it's managed to get some form completions, or obviously if it's had like subscriptions or purchases, you don't want to turn it off. So we can see here that we'd be scrolling down and we'd be turning them off. So for example, we could go into this campaign here, and we're treating all the cold audiences the exact same, whether it's LLAs, whether it's interest, and we turn them off here if they had more than $1.50 and they didn't have an add to cart, initiate checkout, or even a purchase. Going over, we have the next day. So this actually brings us to 4 days. So this will be 4 days now. And what we can do is we can start to look for some more engagement. Okay, we can start to be a lot more strict on our ad sets, and we can start to make sure that they're actually spending the right amount of money. So on our 5th to 6th day, we want to make sure that we are turning off any ad sets that don't have a profitable purchase. So by the time you touch that 5th day, if your ad sets don't have a profitable purchase, you want to make sure they are off. Now, let's say we have our ad sets here. Now, the buying behavior ad set, let's say this had 3 purchases and parents got 3 purchases, but all of the rest of the ad sets, they unfortunately did not get purchases. What we can do is we can turn them off just like that, save that to draft, and then what we can do is we can start to analyze these 2 ad sets. We can then start to do all the fancy things like optimizations. We can start to do all the fancy things like breaking them down and seeing what they are like. And we can start to analyze them from more of an advanced standpoint. We can compare the creatives. So did our cold audience, did they prefer image or did they prefer video? If they preferred video, we can start to create more video creatives. We can ask our client to create more. And if they preferred image, we can start to do that as well. And we can start to test more image creatives. So let's say our client preferred image 1. We can go back and repeat the exact same process with maybe image. So we can do image 1.2, and we can do it all the way to image 1.4. So we can add like 2 to 3 creatives per ad set, and we can repeat the same whole same process. We can duplicate the whole campaign and repeat it again with new images and see which interests and which creatives, which interests and which audiences start to respond to more images, because that's how you're going to be able to get different ad sets profitable. Now, how are we going to scale these up? So how do we scale our cold audiences? And the way you do that is by two things: either horizontal or vertical scaling. Horizontal scaling is simply when you just duplicate the campaigns. So we can just go in here with the ad sets that we've turned off here, and then all we need to do is just duplicate the ad sets or the campaigns. It doesn't really matter which ones you duplicate. You can just go here, click here, duplicate, times by 4 here, and you can just duplicate them, and that's how they're going to scale. Because as you can see, we go from spending $20 a day all the way to spending around about, so quick maths to about $90 a day. See, nice. So $90 or $100 a day. So we've gone by 5x because we've duplicated the 2 ad sets 5 times. So rewind all of that if you've got a little bit lost here, because we're going straight at it for you advanced guys. So as you can see, we've now gone from spending $200 a day to, so we've now gone from spending $20 a day to $100 a day, and only with profitable audiences. Now the key thing to do is make sure that you're not messing around with the ad sets. So make sure you're not messing around with the ads. Only play around with the ad sets, because you can mess around with a lot of optimization by turning off creatives that you might think aren't working. Now, when we scale up this way, it's very good because we are basically duplicating, we're doubling, we're tripling, we're quadrupling the budget that we're working on. So you can scale very, very fast. Now, obviously that increases the risk, but it also increases the reward. And because you've already followed the testing structure that we've got over here, you're still going to be able to narrow down things by the time you get to about 3 days. Now, what about the other methods? How can we increase the budgets? Now, the way you can work on that is simply by just increasing the budgets on each ad set level. So you can go over here, you can click edit, and you can change the budget. And then what you can do is you can start to increase the budget by 30% every 3 days. So we'll go from $10 to $13. We'll go from $13 to around about $15 or $16. And we'll start to just work up in stages. Every 3 days that is profitable, you can start to increase the ad set budget, and over time this will build up. This is great for those clients that want to scale slowly, they can't scale aggressively, and it's a great method for scaling. You can do this on a CBO or you can do this on an ABO level. Now, on the topic of CBOs, I only tend to move from CBOs, I only tend to move into CBOs when I have my profitable ad sets. So I'll work from just duplicating the individual ad set, which might be parents. I'll duplicate it into a new CBO here, and I'll just put it straight away to $100 a day, and I won't touch anything else. This is a great way of scaling because you've got individual ad sets you already know works, and you're just putting $100 a day budget into it, and you can scale it horizontally and just slowly start to build a budget. Now guys, let's get on to remarketing. Now, remarketing is a great strategy, and having remarketing funnels allows you to segment each part of the customer journey. So if we get onto the theory part again, I know some of you guys might be absolutely loving it. Some of you guys might be absolutely hating the theory part, but it needs to be said. So in the theory part, if we figure it out like this, we have our customer funnel, and at the end we obviously have our purchase, where we're going to make all of that money. Wait, that is a very, very poor pound sign. But no, so as we have it here, this is where we're going to make all of this money. So this is where we have the purchase. Okay, along this purchase stage, we have our bottom of funnel. These are the people that were just about to make the purchase and didn't buy. We have our middle of funnel. These are the people that might have seen our ad, they might have seen our website, they might have seen certain actions, but they have never actually came to the website to make a purchase. So we need to make sure that we are advertising to each section of this journey absolutely differently. Okay, during this process, we need to advertise to each person and each different stage of the funnel differently, and we need to segment them. So I'm going to be showing you an in detailed strategy and how we segment each part of this customer journey. So with the middle of funnel, these are going to be the people that have seen your ads, or they've came to your Facebook page, they've came to your Instagram page, and they haven't actually decided to visit your website. So these people are great because you can present a whole different style of creative. You can even adapt your ad copy, and you can do tons of different things, even offers that people won't see if they've already been to your website. And the way you do this is you create the custom audience from the Instagram section. You add all of the Instagram custom audiences into this ad set. And then what you can do is you can scroll down and you'll be able to see specifically and exclude purchases. You can do the exact same thing for Facebook, and you can do the exact same thing for videos. Now, the same goes for reacquisition. Reacquisition is simply purchases, so it's a custom audience from purchasers, and remarketing is the exact same thing. For screenshots of those, you can see them here. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed this full Facebook advertising tutorial. I did go over it quite quickly because this is the advanced section, so I expect you guys to know pretty much most things in terms of advanced strategy. So please go back through that, analyze each step, and test them for yourself. The main thing to do is testing. This course isn't here to give you guys some fake strategy. It's all about testing, and that's how you achieve results. Okay, so gathering that, we've gone through the basic strategy. We've gone through the advanced Facebook ad strategy, but what about the next step? What do we do when we get to 10K? What do we do when we get to 20K? The way we scale past 10 and 20K is by getting more accounts, is being able to manage more clients. And you don't want to have a direct correlation between the time you spend and the clients you're managing. The only way you do that is by using softwares, and the best software we like to use is Magix. So here's a full tutorial of the Magix platform for one of Magix client relations. And if you use the affiliate code in the free cheat sheet, you'll be able to actually book in a call for them to train your ads manager, and you'll also be able to book in a call for them to train you if you're running Facebook ads. Hello and welcome to the Magix tutorial. Now this is going to be the main thing that you're going to need to know when starting out with Magix. So for those of you guys that are interested, if you want to get started out with Magix, all you need to do, head over to the link in the description and you'll be able to book in a completely free call with Magix, and they'll take you through things in a lot more detail as long as you sign up to the free trial. So I'm just going to take you through the different features that Magix has and how they can help your agency scale up. Now, first things first, here, once you sign in, you have your Magix dashboard. Now, in your Magix dashboard, this is where you're going to be able to see your business from a bird's eye perspective. As you can see at the moment, this is actually an e-commerce business, but if it's lead gen, you'll just see the lead gen statistics here. Now, it makes things very simple to report because you can change your data from amount spent to link clicks to ROAS. You can change every little section how you want to do so. You also have the reported section and the creative reports. Now, these are all live. So as you can see, because we're doing it over 365 days, it does take a little bit of while to load, but don't worry, they will load. Now, the next thing we also have is automated reporting. Now, automated reporting is vital for those of you guys that are wanting to basically automate your agency. This thing here has saved me thousands of pounds and hours on hours of Loom videos when it comes to reporting, because I can ask my client, hey, how often do you want to see ad account updates? Do you want to see them daily, weekly, and monthly? And I can also edit the PDF so they can see different versions of data. I can really simplify it for clients so they can follow which KPIs they're interested in. If they're not bothered about the cost per click, then I'm not going to have the cost per click KPI, and I can ask them in there. I can also add my logo here. Then obviously I can change each KPI as I want to change. As you can see here, we can go for frequency, maybe impressions and link clicks, if that's what they're on about, or if they're really interested in the data, you can go for obviously clicks, you can go for their amount spent. Obviously, you can add their ROAS. You can literally add every single one you want to add. Even if you're doing lead gen, you can segment like leads on Facebook to all leads, to lead forms, to subscriptions. Every little column that you want to add, you can add. And then obviously you can brand it as well with your logo. Now, when we come back here, we can see that the clicks have loaded. So every single column that you want to see from a bird's eye view, you can do. So this allows you to just look at the most important perspectives. And then you can also segment each one. As you can see, Magics is going to segment each one from acquisition, prospecting, re-engagement, retargeting, and retention as well. So as you can see, most clients probably won't have retention. And on this old ad account that you've got, we don't even use retention either. So this is something that will blow clients' minds when you even ask them, like, hey, how often are you targeting people that have purchased in the past? How often are you segmenting remarketing? How often are you segmenting acquisition? So what I actually do is any new clients I get as well, I just add them onto Magics so I can see whether it's worth even taking them on as a client. And you can see whether they even have any potential as well. So you can see tons of different prospects in here. They also break it down in a visual format with the status overview. As you can see again, acquisition, retargeting, and retention. And then if we did change the dates over here, it is dynamic. So all of these will change dynamically to the dates. Now, as you can see, we break it down from amount spent to ROAS, but you guys can break it down to anything you want. If you want to see the difference in the clicks and how the clicks affect from the amount spent. So if you spend more and then you get the same amount of clicks, then it's going to be an issue long term, right? And you can segment all of these from acquisition, retargeting, and retention. Now, going down, we can also see from the dashboard, we also have things like the drill down menu, as you can see, where you can see dynamic graphs from acquisition to retention. And they do change again. You can get a little bit more complicated, and you can also see whether your CPM changes when you spend more, whether your CTR changes when you spend more, because you need certain constant metrics. As you can see, if we were spending more, this wasn't affecting our CTR, which means that we managed to achieve more revenue over time because we were spending more money and more people were clicking through to our ads. But if we seen that there was a drop down in CTR once we started to spend more, that would mean that we'd need to do more creative analysis. And you just can't see these type of things from an overview perspective on Facebook. These type of things are, I don't know about you, but I'm a very visual person. And these type of things help a lot, not only just with reporting, but with helping getting your clients better results. And as you can also see, we have the total revenue at the bottom, and you can use the exact same thing here. Now, this is just the beginning of Magics. This is just the overview. Now let's get into the next sections, which is your launcher and your Creative Studio. First of all, we'll head over to the Creative Studio, because this is without a doubt one of the best things that you can do for your clients, because it allows you to be not just an ad buyer, but also allows you to be a creative consultant for your clients as well. So we can see here from an overview perspective, over the last year, that on this specific ad account, there was no images tested. There was only short video, medium video. There wasn't even a long video, carousels, and DPAs were tested. They had a great result, but they weren't scaled. So we can already start to analyze the creators from a bird's eye perspective without having to go deep into Facebook ads analysis. Now you can see it from a visual perspective here as well. And Magics is going to basically map out your most profitable ads. So you can use these ads yourself and you can start building on to and basically scaling up what already works. So for instance, let's start with the creative insights. Now, as you can see, obviously, like we said, images weren't tested, long videos weren't tested. But what about the videos that are? You can see that we spent $1,300 on short videos. And we actually got quite a good ROAS. And then we also spent a lot of money on medium videos. And the ROAS kind of lacked Okay, the outbound CTR was a little bit more, but the conversion rate was lower. Conversion rate was much higher on short videos, so why didn't we continue to use short videos? This was probably because we didn't use Magix at this time, so we couldn't see these type of data points which we could have built up on. And these are the exact same things that are going to help your clients as well. So creative insights is insanely important. Now you can also change it to between minimum spend. So I can set a minimum spend. So only ads that have spent $10 for say. And as you can see, as I'm changing the minimum spend, it's going to refresh and it's going to dynamically change the reporting as well. So for instance, let's say we want to go for the creative here. We can see that it corresponds with, on the left-hand side, the revenue. So it's also the one that has spent the most as well. So this one has spent the most and it's managed to be able to scale. But this one here has spent the least, but it's also scalable as well. So technically, if you put more money into this ad, it should be able to scale better as well. So going through, you can basically break down every single creative from a bird's eye view, and you can see what style of creative you A, should be testing, and B, what style creatives aren't working as well. So this right here, this here is probably one of the most powerful things in Magix. Just the ability to analyze every single creative from a bird's eye perspective. It doesn't matter whether it's a creative that you've used 5 times, 6 times, or 7 times, but it breaks it down and groups them all together, as you can see here. Now, once we go down, we can see basically creative performance trends over the past month. Now, because we haven't tested anything in the month, you won't be able to see it here. But as you can see, you can add in all of them and then you can see it from a graph perspective as well. Going down, we also have the AI tag feature. So for those of you guys that don't know, Facebook basically uses artificial intelligence to tag your photos or videos, and you can see what exactly you want to be having in your creatives that Facebook's been tagging it with. So as you can see, having diaries and text in our ads perform the best. So what we need to be doing is having more diaries and text in our ads so they perform better. And going down, having furniture in the ads didn't perform too well. Facebook didn't necessarily like that. So what we can do is start building up on having diaries and text and people in our ads, and they build a lot more revenue compared to the spend as they do by just having, for example, furniture and hardwood and more home style ads. So maybe a person on a cell phone with a diary and some text and ad works better than somebody at home with furniture and, I don't know, hardwood floors. Hardwood floors, for example. But as you can see, if we click more, we can see every single tag that we've had on our videos and see how we can build up more positive engagement and start building up on some more things that are going to basically get us better returns in the future. And no other agency around can give this type of value to clients because they can't see this type of data. You can't see this on Facebook. So without a doubt, Creative Studio is probably the best thing to pop into, even if you're just getting a free trial, just to see what creatives you're working with and what creatives are going to be the best for you. Now, going up, as we can see, we've got the launcher section. Now, I'm going to hop into this into a lot more detail later when we get to running through how exactly you can launch your creatives. But for now, I just want to take you guys through basically the automations and also the different styles of creatives that you can actually launch and the different audiences that you can launch in the launcher section. This is going to be where you launch every single ad. It's also going to be where you launch every single audience. And there's so much more data that you can actually target within Magix that you can't do in Facebook. Like, you can do lookalikes from 0 to 20. You can never do that in Facebook. It's not even an option, but it is an option in Magix. Now, as you can see, Launcher is segmented into 3 different sections. You've got your acquisition, your retargeting, and your retention. Now, acquisition is obviously mostly cold. Retargeting is going to be all of your audiences that have either been to your website or they know something about your brand. And retention is going to be segmented only into people that have actually purchased your product or segmented into things like your email list as well. So initially, let's take a look at acquisition. Acquisition, we can target people that have engaged, so people that know a thing or two about our brand. That would be obviously a warmer audience. And then we have our straight up prospecting. These are people that have viewed videos. These are people that are maybe fans of our social media. We also have devices as well, so we can segment by devices. But then we have these type of sections here as well. Now, these are things that are exclusive to Magix, and these audiences are insane. What Magix actually do is they segment them from silver to gold. And what they basically do is set customers that have a higher purchase intent. So you have infrequent people that maybe don't frequently visit your Facebook pages, all the way up to frequently. And if we go down and click a few of these, launching these ads are as easy as just clicking them and then clicking next. And then what that would do is that will put all 4 of those audiences directly into a campaign. Whereas for those of you guys that know with Facebook, creating these audiences alone will take you weeks and weeks, but they're already here through Magix. Now going down, obviously I'm not going to break down every single little audience, but I just want to take you through a few of these audiences that are basically exclusive to Magix. Now, we have a few more audiences exclusive to Magix, so a few of them, especially in the prospecting and re-engagement. These being your time-based, so these are your time-based, this is like time spent on websites, so obviously you've got your considering and also segmented to deep browsing. These type of audiences would take ages to make yourself, but you can create them straight through Magix and a click of the button. And then we also have our basically product affinity, and product affinity is to like specific products, which usually you have to, obviously another thing that will take ages to make, but you can make it again with a click of a button through Magix. So the ad launcher is something that you should definitely be getting familiar with. Hundreds of ad sets in seconds with Magix, so this is something to definitely take a look at. Even your video views, for those of you guys that know video views and creating this basic lookalike, it takes ages to segment all of your videos together. It takes ages to segment different styles of videos. And yeah, again, another thing you can do with a click of a button. So let's head over to the automations. Now, automations is another section of Magix, which makes it very unique. And these are ways that you can create automatic testing rules and automatic testing tactics within your campaigns. So let's have a look at some of the tactics that you can add to Magix. Now, for example, what is a tactic? Now, a tactic is a automation that you can set up on the back end. These are usually things what people would call rules in the Facebook Ads Manager. And they are rules that you can build to basically automate your testing strategy. So for you guys that have ads managers that have their own testing rules, that have their own 3-day, 4-day, and maybe weekly or monthly rules, you can automate these in the back end of Magix. Now, Magix have been kind enough to create some stock rules for you, such as surfing, stop loss, reviving, and sunsetting. Now, for any of these ads, for any of these strategies, if you just go over them, you can watch YouTube videos on them. You can also watch full tutorials on them. And you can obviously read articles on each of them as well. I'm not going to go through every single one of them now because I get the feeling that I might bore you guys. But if you click on it here, what we can do is actually break down and we can create an automation. So first of all, let's select Surf. Now, as you can see, Surf will identify the strong performance trends and automatically capitalize on positive momentum by increasing the available ad sets budget beyond its original limit. So let's say we launch an ad set. The ad set is set at $10. If that ad set starts to get momentum and starts to get purchases, what we want it to do is we want the budget to increase. If it's getting positive momentum, why not increase the budget on the day that is getting positive momentum? That's going to throw your ROAS through the roof. So first of all, let's start out with Surf. Now, going on to Surf, we can start out by choosing purchase, because obviously we're doing e-com. You know, if we get purchases, that's what we want to start increasing the budget from. As you can see, we want to trigger the increased spend after it gets one purchase, as long as it's below $100. Now, $100, I feel like $100 is a little bit too much. So let's say we make $50 on a purchase or $60 on a purchase. Any ad set that spends $20 and gets a purchase So any ad set that gets one purchase and spends $20, what we want to do is we want to increase the budget. Now, as you can see, you can do a static metric, or you can even do a dynamic metric as well. So we can say any ad set that gets one purchase and its cost per click, or we can maybe do cost per outbound click, is 65 cents. Then what we can do is, if it's 65 cents for the past day, maybe we can do, if it stayed consistent over the last 7 days, then we can increase the budget. So dynamic and static is very important, two different things to test. And as you can see, it does get a little bit confusing. So if you do click the eye icon, you can also go through it. And obviously, if you do get a little bit confused, you can also ask Magix as well. Now, the next thing we can do is, as you can see, it says ad sets will be increased to the algorithm. So automatically, Magix will go ahead and increase the budget to the algorithm's constraints, because sometimes if you increase the budget too much, it will just blow the algorithm. It will reset the learning phase and everything will go wrong. So you can just do the surf limit, let Magix do it automatically. Or if you want to do it specific to your metrics, then you can change it here as well. So you can maybe put 90 here for top performing ad sets. Maybe ad sets that are performing okay, you can put 40. And then as it goes down, you can go for 25 and obviously 40% here as well. Now you can also set the limit. So this is the limit that it will go to. So the limit that it will go to is $300, but maybe A, your client's got a smaller budget, cash flow constraints, or maybe B, you currently don't want to be, don't feel comfortable spending that much, then you can lower it and just put $100 tops. Now, all of these tactics will automatically reset, and they'll automatically reset to a specific time that you choose. Now, at the moment, the time is set to 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. And as you can see, you can change it to, 10 a.m. or maybe your ads perform the best at 2 a.m. So what you can do is you can change it specifically to 2 a.m. like that. So this is surfing, and I recommend don't go crazy on these. So don't go too crazy on these automations. Just start out soft. Especially for agencies, especially if you're getting on a new account, the only thing I recommend setting up is sunsetting. And what sunsetting does is basically stopped ads that aren't performing too well. So you can set your target cost per result, and over time, it's just going to cut all the fat, and that's automatically going to raise your client's ROAS just from the jump. Like if you just jumped an account, put sunsetting on the account and walked away, your client's going to get a better ROAS, just because their campaigns are just not going to be spending when it's not bringing them a positive return. So without a doubt, the first thing to set up is sunsetting. And then over time, you want to slowly start split testing and adding in these automations. Don't just hop in an account and start adding in every single one, because trust me when I say this, these will start working against each other and it will start doing more harm than good. Now going down, this is a new section, and these are basically customized automations. So you've got long-term budget optimization, maximizing daily budget, and you can change this from lead gen to e-com or even app-based campaigns as well. So for those of you guys doing app downloads, you can also do that. For those of you guys doing lead gen, for example, you can do specific lead gen campaigns. And for those of you guys that are doing e-com, you can do specific e-com campaigns. And some of these, like sneak attack strategies and attribution delay check, are some strategies that are fairly well known in the e-com game by people that have made them themselves. And you can automatically do that with a click of the button. So look, it's already set up for you. It automatically syncs to the average that Magix can see on your account, and then you can just launch it from there. So for example, launching it will be easy to click in next, and then next again. And then just like that, the automation is launched. So what about when you launch an automation and you want to see whether it's working? You want to see what's going on. When you click on the overview section, you'll be able to see the status of when it's launched. You'll also be able to see who launched it. Then you'll also be able to see the last time it triggered. So over time, you'll be able to see the automations that Magix is doing. Maybe at 5 o'clock, Magix increased the budget, and at 6 o'clock, the revive ad trigger turned on a different campaign. And then over time, you'll be able to see all the automations that's happening. And these are things that will happen whether you're awake, whether you're asleep, whether you're on the count or not. So from an overview perspective, this is amazing. You can either filter it by different authors, which is going to be obviously your different campaign managers. And you can also show the enabled and disabled campaigns as well. Now, going down, there's also custom automations, and these are custom automations that you can make yourself. So let's say I want to create a custom ad automation. Then we can go down and we can select this triggers. So let's say we get an ad gets a purchase. An ad has got 3 purchases. Then what we can do is we can select an ad. We can basically select customization triggers. We can say, look, Magix will pause the ad if it gets 3 purchases, and then we can say if it's spend. So let's say ad has 3 purchases, but it's below or equal, is less than or equal to 0.9, Magix will pause that creative. So this stops you from spending too much money on creatives. And you can also do it for stagnant creatives as well. So maybe creatives that haven't spent no money over the last 3 days, you can just turn them off. And these are the type of things that you can do. You can even create your custom campaigns for your ad sets and custom campaigns for your CBOs as well, and your ABO campaigns as well here. Now, custom campaigns is something that I don't personally do, because trust me, it blows my mind. I always have to hop on a call with the team and get them to teach me new styles of campaigns to make. But it is a good thing to get used to doing. And for those of you guys that like systems and love creating systems, you guys are going to have insane fun with custom automatizations. Bid testing is insane. So for those of you guys that don't know about automated bidding or how bidding works, Facebook itself is a bidding platform. Now, some days you're going to bid more, other days you're going to bid less. And the only way you can scale is by maintaining a bid amount that is profitable. Facebook itself will automatically basically make you unprofitable once you start spending a certain amount of money. So it's very important that you keep an eye on the amount that you're bidding. Now, what Magix is going to do is Magix is going to help you choose the perfect bid amount automatically within the system. So let's go to the campaign overview, and in this section, this is going to be every single campaign that you have launched within this time frame. So this is important for those of you guys that are scaling up. Campaigns can sometimes get a little bit messy, and things can sometimes get out of control. If you can find it hard to spot winning campaigns, you can find it hard to basically catch on to macro and micro trends over time. So what Magix does for you is it automatically aligns all of the ad sets that are acquisition, all the ad sets that are retargeting, and all the ad sets that are retention, and aligns it for you to a point where you can automatically spot ad sets that are working well, ad sets that aren't working well, and the tactics that are also enabled to these ad sets as well from a bird's eye perspective. So this is insane for spotting macro and micro trends, and it's great for finding winning ad sets that are working well, and it's great for also spotting ad sets that might be basically wasting you money. And what we can do from this section is we can organize ad sets from CTR, so the ad sets that had the best CTR over a whole year, and we can also do the ad sets that maybe didn't have the best CTR over a whole year as well. And I'm not going to wait for this because it's going to take ages to scrape all the data over the past year, but we can also do retargeting as well. And from retargeting, you can group from amount spent, ROAS, cost per result, CTR as well. You can do the same thing for retention. So I just wanted to quickly mention this feature because I know some of you guys don't necessarily obviously get involved in the ads yourself. So the overview perspectives for most of these things are going to be the ones that are going to help you the most. The next section we also have is the ad set storyline, and this is the life of an ad set. Now, for those of you guys that are also here and want to know about AdCare, you guys know that this is something that I absolutely rant about. It's something that I didn't even think about. And this is how you set automated comments on your pages. If you think about it like this, whenever you launch an ad, those ads that get viral, that's free advertising space below your ads. Like personally, my ads get hundreds and thousands of comments. So that's free. That's basically hundreds and thousands of people that I can engage with without having to physically go into the comments and launch things. So I can do like influencer marketing campaigns in my comments. I can do FAQs in my comments as well, automatically from this section here. Now what Magics is going to do is it's automatically going to comment on your ads. It's also going to add the option to unsubscribe, and we'll get into that in a second. And then it will automatically create custom audiences and exclude anybody to click the unsubscribe link. So for those of you guys that have long-term clients and are worried about their page score, what you can do is you can add an unsubscribe link and an unsubscribe landing page natively from Magics. And underneath every single ad, it's going to add the option for that potential customer to unsubscribe from your ads, because over time, they're going to be seeing your ads on multiple occasions, especially if you're doing good remarketing, and you don't want them to start getting pissed off with you over time. And this is how it's going to stop them from having that effect. You can actually say to them, look, if you don't want to see any more of our ads in the comment section, then all you need to do is go over here, click this page, and you'll never see us again. And then over time, as that builds, you can even start remarketing them with some smaller offers to basically get them back onto your advertising list. Now here you can see how to apply it. You can put it here. So I can say stuff like, maybe, do you want to be an ambassador? Click here. And then I can have FAQ, so I can even have frequently asked questions. So I can say easy to use, and I can put a blog there. I can also put stuff like sections that say comment here, and we will reply. So they can just comment under here, so I can have a VA just go through all the comments just under this section and reply to every single person, communicate with them. And then obviously at the end of it, I can also have an unsubscribe link. And this is absolutely insane. We can also add a resubscribe page, so great to have you back. And just little things like this, which is going to make it so easy for scaling up, and it's going to stop you guys from getting banned ad accounts along the way as well. So ad care, super important. It's something that people never think of, or I didn't think of it at all, using my comment section to leverage. And then the last section we have is Audience Studio. So Audience Studio absolutely blows my mind. Yet again, something that we're going to have to go back in time. But while this is loading and while this is gaining, I'm just going to talk you through what Audience Studio actually is. So Audience Studio is where Magics is automatically going to find the best interest for you. It's going to take the research out of the equation, and it's automatically going to go through audience insights and allow you to create custom audiences, and also allow you to stack interests, segment interests, and work out what interests are your most profitable from a bird's eye perspective, basically automatically. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the Magics tutorial. I've gone through things from basically a bird's eye perspective and not in as much detail as Magics actually deserves. So for those of you guys that are interested, and if you found just one thing that have caught your eye, just use the free trial, hop on a call with the Magics team. And like I said, for those of you guys that click the link in the description, you'll be able to get a completely free step-by-step tutorial of Magics. They'll show you what's best for you. They'll even break down and analyze your campaigns for you. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and let's go on to the next section of the course. Okay, so how are we going to use Magics to scale? Now, the typical ads manager can manage anywhere from 1 to 5 accounts. Sometimes they can manage more, but on average, it's anywhere from 1 to 5 accounts because they're probably not just working for you. The average good ads manager is going to charge anywhere from $750 to $1K per client. Now, if we do the quick maths, we can see that $2K, which is the average service charge we do, times 5 clients is going to give us a net of about $10K, or a gross, should I say. Now, if we do the $10K rep, now $2K, which is our service charge, times 5 ad accounts, which is the average that our ad accounts can do, gives us 10K revenue. Now, if we minus that revenue to the service cost, which is the average price, that gives about 5K net. That means we're netting about 5K from each ads manager. So that means to get to our goal, which might be 30K, it could be 10K, it could be 20K, but for example, 30K, we need 6 ads managers, which is absolutely insane. It takes a lot of time to manage those. Now, let's say we use Magix. Magix is going to allow us to increase the amount of accounts we can have per ads manager. And what this means is we can automate reporting. We can automate different sections. We can automate creative reporting. And it means we can get more time for our ads managers to be on accounts. So we can get anywhere from 8. 8 is fairly reasonable, but we can go anywhere from 8 to 10. And this means that we can net an extra $2,000 to $3,000 profit per ad. And it means we can net an extra $2,000 to $3,000 per client just by changing the softwares that we're using. It means you only need about 4 ad account managers to get to 30K. But these are theoretical numbers, and in my opinion, just from the experience that we've had, our own personal ads manager is managing around about 10 to 13 accounts on Magix fairly easily. Now, just before we get onto how you're going to actually manage to scale using Facebook ads for your own business, here's a warning for you guys that probably skipped here. And this is, do not run Facebook ads for your social media marketing agency if you have 0 cash flow. Now, the requirements for running Facebook ads is you need to have a minimum of $1,500 in profit each month, and you can use basic targeting. Now, you don't need to use anything too complex. What I like to use is a basic landing page through WordPress. If you want to see a WordPress tutorial or anything like that, just comment below. And what you do is you're going to run your Facebook ads to your WordPress website, and you're just going to run the remarketing funnel from the advanced section. Now, in that remarketing funnel, the creatives you want to use is the creatives that relate specifically to your target audience's problem. Now, what do I mean by that? This is going through the problems that your clients currently have. So all you do, you look at your past 5, 6, 7 clients, you analyze the main problems that you have. You can even send them a Google Forms or something like that to go through the problems that they have. Now, once you figure that out, so let's say, for example, you've got a business agency that deals with dentists. You can talk to dentists specifically through your creatives. You can specifically say to any dentist that, hey, you can specifically say this. Hey, do you want more Invisalign clients? Click here to see a case study on how exactly we scale Invisalign clients. You can also do creative saying, hey, do you want to scale your, you can also do, I even recommend using creatives that use the same terminology. So in e-commerce, we've got things like cost per acquisition. We've got things like just like keywords like Shopify, drop shipping, Amazon FBA, suppliers. Like there's tons of little keywords that you can just use where instantly when you say them, you relate. Look at the solar industry. Look at the restaurant industry. You've got different industries where you can use keywords in your ads, and this is something that nobody's doing. I have not seen one ad from any agency that specifically relates to their niche. If you come with an ad that is a simple 5, 15, 20-second video that just relates to the customer and it relates to the specific issue that they're having. So are you struggling to get Invisalign leads for your dentist? Here's a case study on how we got 15 to 20 Invisalign leads in 3 days for our newest client. These type of things is going to get you, these type of things is what's going to help accelerate your business 10, 20, 30x. Now, how else can we increase our average order value? Now we've scaled our business, but what about increasing our average order value? We don't always have to get brand new clients. We can use things like ROAS. We can use things like affiliate income. We can also use things like consulting with clients when they move in-house. So initially we have ROAS. ROAS stands for return on ad spend. Now we charge our clients a 10% return on ad spend. This isn't absolutely mandatory, but this works in the realm of e-commerce. E-commerce businesses typically make around 70% profit margins before ad spend. So we can take a healthy 10% out of that because it allows us to scale when our clients scale. Now, I always quote my ROAS 3 days before the billing period just to let them know, and then I send them an invoice on the day. I'm also very open to negotiating return on ad spend because a lot of times once you scale past 100, 200K in gross revenue for clients, sometimes taking 10, 20, 30K from clients can sometimes be quite tough. So you are supposed to always stay open in negotiation. But if you're looking for a ROAS contract, if this video gets 500 likes, I'll actually put a ROAS contract in the description. Now, what about affiliates? Affiliates is something nobody talks about. And in the cheat sheet, you can see a full link of different affiliates you can use and different affiliates that I personally use to increase my revenue for every single client. I make an extra $500 to $1,000 profit just by using affiliates. And I've got one-off affiliate deals to make 2-3K with social media agencies and web design agencies, but we'll leave that for another video. Now, here's an affiliate list. You've got video ads, social media management, website design, SEO, ebooks, and they're just some of the ideas that you can do. You can even create bespoke ebooks for clients that are looking to move in-house. You know, you can create ebooks that are maybe 3, 4, 5K, and you can say, listen, all the things that I've done for you, I'll put this in a small ebook. So when you take your clients in-house or when you want to hire people, here you go. You can use this for your newest members. You can train people for this, and this is just easy ways to increase your revenue. Now, before we get to the end of the course, I know you guys might be tired. I know you guys might have this in the background, but I want you guys to really focus on communication. Communication is absolutely vital for keeping your business afloat and for scaling your business too. It's much easier to keep a client going than it is to go out and get new clients. We've gone through email. We've gone through DMs. We've gone through email, we've gone through DMs, we've gone through Facebook ads, and all of these things you have to reach out to so many different businesses. So why do people not put in more work to keeping their clients going than they do to getting more clients? It blows my mind. So I like to do reporting. I'll do a Monday loom, a Wednesday summary, just 3 to 4 sentences of my client communication. And I'll also do a monthly or even a bi-weekly call with my clients as well, either with me or my ads manager. And that's what allows me to keep the lines of communication open. Also, I over deliver. So I'm always trying to over deliver on like little consulting calls or helping them out with their business and different ways I can over deliver. I'll also get testimonials from clients as soon as possible, just to help me with different ways of getting leads as well. Now, guys, I hope you like this course. It's the first of its kind, and I guarantee you everybody else is going to be starting to do this. So I don't know if this course will blow up. I don't know if nobody's going to see it, but I just wanted to put it out there because this is something that I would have loved to watch when I first started out. And I want to leave you with this quote. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And just by you watching this, you're going to be going and taking that first step in the right direction. Gurus will tell you that you'll be rich in 30 days and they'll tell you that you can instantly be successful, but this is a hard journey. This is something that isn't for everybody, and it's something that can also change your life if you take advantage of it. So you can't control the results that you're going to get, but you can control the action. And as long as you follow this video, you follow the free advice that we put out on this channel every single day, step by step, guarantee you will be successful. So enjoy. I hope you guys have as much success. So enjoy. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because this video took 2 takes and 5 hours. So like, comment, share, and subscribe, because this video took 2 takes and 5 hours to complete, and I haven't even edited it yet, so I don't know how long that's going to take, but I hope you guys enjoyed it.